Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 66 for Tuesday, the 6th of April 2021. I'm your host, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby, 360G, and joining me on this fine evening is...
Happy Easter and all that bullshit, Cinema Den.
Dishonored 2 is an amazing game, and I'll fight anyone that says differently. It's Sly Armored.
Like a stain you can't remove, Sensei Switch.
Whee. So, yeah, I just want to say happy Easter to everyone who's watching us live on Twitch. It is Easter Sunday. I've had a fun day. I've been working all day, but managed to find a little bit of time to...
Did you celebrate at all? Zombie Jesus Day?
Happy Jesus Day. We did a little Easter egg hunt in the garden for the little boy, and he loved it. Yeah, went for a little walk in the sunshine because it's going to be the last sunny day for a while. And there's a lot of obnoxious dog walkers out on when we went out. So I want to say fuck you to all the obnoxious dog walkers out there. And now we're doing this.
You're full of cheer.
I know. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. It's been quite a little bit of news this week, which has got me very excited, which we'll talk about shortly.
It's
good.
You're gonna squee at this one, aren't you?
Yes, lots of positivity this week. And
good.
I just want to say,
week, I fucking hope so.
And we've got Sly Almond, as I say, Sly Vesta of the Almond from Australia, 3:30 in the morning. He's on, showing his commitment. Amazing.
And I have a beer.
And he's drinking beer. He's a ledge. So thank you very much, Sly. Just remind everyone how old you are, because people are thinking you're still like 15 or something.
I'm 22 years old.
22 years old. And how old were you when you started listening to the podcast?
I don't know, like 11.
Fucking
bloody hell.
We've groomed him.
You raised me.
We are your surrogate fathers.
Uncles.
Oh, dodgy uncles, eh?
Yeah.
Dodgy uncles, yeah. The ones that make you drink heavily. That's why you've got a drinking problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whoa. I wouldn't say a problem. I'd say it's a solution.
There you go. That's the right answer. Congratulations.
And now Sly has a job. He's living on his own. He's a big boy now. So yeah, it's mad how things move along in the world. It makes me feel old. Well, there we go. Good times. Good times.
Let's get on with it. News.
Down to the news. Time for the news jingle. Ding 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 ding.
I still haven't heard this. I still haven't heard this jingle.
So first,
it doesn't exist, does it? I'm really sure.
It does.
No, there is a jingle. I've heard it.
Okay.
So my first piece of news is Battlefield, the new one. It's what everyone's calling it, Battlefield 6. Before we carry on with the news, happy birthday to Dougster. It's going to be his birthday tomorrow, which is the 5th. He's going to be 30, the big 3-0. Oh, I'll tell you a little thing about
Happy birthday, mate.
I'll tell you
Happy
a little
birthday,
bit of thing.
yeah.
Happy birthday, mate. Happy birthday. Hope you have a good one. Not too much. Pubs are still closed. I was so depressed on my face. I started to feel really old. Yeah, man. I don't know. On my 40th, I'm going to be inconsolable. I tell you. I hate birthdays. Every year, I just dread my birthday. All I want to do is be left alone and play video games. I'm such a moody prick on my birthday. I really am. It's awful. Oh, I feel sorry for my missus. Anyway, Dougster, happy birthday. Right, anyway, so Battlefield 6 rumours, ahoy. So apparently it's not going to be called Battlefield 6. It's just going to be called Battlefield. And it's going to feature abilities like COD perks, which is not sounding too promising in my eyes, but we shall see. It's going to be set in a near future setting, so it's going to have drones and all that bollocks, apparently. 10 years from now, to be precise. and it's going to have some of the kind of COD stuff like upgrading your weapons and perks and all that sort of stuff. Unsure if there's going to be another Battle Royale mode because the Battlefield Royale mode and Battlefield 5 sucked donkey balls. So, yeah, I just thought that was an interesting piece of news. Apparently, it's going to be there's going to be a trailer around summertime, June or July. So we'll see what happens.
E3 then.
Yeah. So I thought it was an interesting piece of news. Yeah. So there's that. Okay. So moving on. The biggest news for me this week, MLB The Show 21. It's its first year coming out on another platform than PlayStation. This sports game is made by a Sony studio. It's called San Diego Studios, which are owned by Sony. But one of the agreements, because the contract ran out, and MLB put in a clause saying if you want to keep making games with the MLB name, you need to bring the game out on other systems. So this year it's coming out on Xbox as well, and next year it's also coming out on PC as well as Xbox and PlayStation. Now, I've been moaning about this a little bit recently because what Sony are doing... Yes, and you know I have. Because what Sony are doing, which is bullshit, is all their specific studio games are 70 quid on next-gen systems. So all the Sony studio games are £70 on PS5. So I saw MLB The Show 21 on the Xbox Series X store at that £70 price point, and I was like, no, I'm not going to buy it. It's too much money. Anyway, Microsoft pulled a fucking corker this week. It's coming to Game Pass on day one. Now, this is fucking massive news because not only is it a Sony studio game, not only does it retail for £70, if you're a Game Pass subscriber, you're getting it on launch day. And oh my god, are the Sony fanboys up in arms about this? Because if you don't have an Xbox, you've got to pay 70 quid for the game, but us superior Xbox owners are getting it as part of Game Pass.
Listen to you.
Hallelujah.
Listen to you. Yeah.
I'm just on a wind up at the moment. I am on a wind up.
I know. I'm glad you're happy. That's the main thing. It's just rounders, though, isn't it?
It is just, it is to us English, yeah. But I set aside the sport if you like it or don't like it, whatever. It is big news, right? Because it's a Sony studio game,
course.
The first ever to come onto another console platform, and Microsoft have just swooped and be like, "Yeah, Game Pass." You know.
Well, it also helps.
Yeah,
That,
Sony aren't publishing it though.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was about to say, mate.
Yes, MLB who are publishing it on the Xbox platform. Yes.
So it's, I suppose, in that sense, Sony had very little say in this at all, and it's probably caused a bit of a storm behind the scenes, I'd say.
I bet it has, because obviously Sony Studio makes the game, right? And I know. And it's got PlayStation plastered all over the box art on the Xbox.
It's almost as if, I suppose the licensing deal would have been, we can see fit of how we distribute this on our side, and I'm guessing whoever's in the legal department at Sony kind of didn't oversee this and put it in the small print in the contract, unless it was part of the contract. I don't know. Suffice to say, I mean, yeah, I'm pleased. It kind of breaks down the barrier to a degree of exclusivity between platforms and systems. But again, whether or not we see more Sony, developed studios on Microsoft's platforms, I doubt it, because this seems to be the only anomaly in the whole repertoire out there.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's just
enjoy it while you've got it.
I mean, I think it's mad because I've seen the discussions on social media, Reddit, etc. And to be fair, a lot of PlayStation fans are like, "Oh, it's great because it gives us a bigger player base because it's cross-play between both systems."
Oh, cool!
Which is a great thing to see.
Nice.
But because obviously baseball is very popular in America, a lot of people buy a PlayStation over an Xbox just so they can play this game. And now that barrier's been broken, It just feels like Microsoft this generation are just trying to pull out all the stops to best Sony in any way that they can, and this is just one way of doing it with Game Pass.
But yeah, it's a happy coincidence, I guess.
Yeah.
Again, it does seem to me that Sony's constantly on the back foot at the moment. This generation, the whole kind of strategy.
They've been taking quite a few L's so far, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean,
what's quite strange. Yeah, I mean, I mean, as people that are quite in tune with the ins and outs of the gaming industry, because it's our passion. We're into it, so we read all the news and see what's going on, and we generally buy all the systems eventually or whatever. The general gamer doesn't give a shit about all that, and most people are just like, well, they know the PlayStation brand, they've always had a PlayStation, so PlayStation will always sell well. It will always, I mean, for the foreseeable future, be the most popular selling console out of the two anyway. So Sony have still got that name behind them, but for us who can see what's going on, it's that value for money proposition. It's just.
We've kind of seen that from the ages ago. I mean, we're talking about Game Pass and how it's going to revolutionise in terms of game distribution. We were just having these discussions, when I think the Series X wasn't even a name yet. And it was quite clear that they were building up an ecosystem across multi generations. And I mean, I remember saying that that's going to bite Sony on the arse, and it is.
Yeah, Sony have got the PlayStation Now subscription service, which does have quite a big catalogue of games, and a lot of them are quite decent games actually. But you compare the two services, it just seems to me that Xbox has more games, has better games, and they're pushing it more. They're advertising it a lot more. They're putting it more at the forefront of the system, whereas on the PlayStation side, it's just there, and they don't really push it.
I would argue that. Well, this is the thing about Game Pass. It's only gone from strength to strength, I would say, since EA came on board and added to the bulk of it. Otherwise, essentially, what you're doing with Game Pass prior to that was buying a load of you had all the Gears games. And was it some indies? Let's be honest. That was basically it.
Well,
there was a few other big titles as well.
It does depend.
Well, yeah,
on what you're into. 100%.
It's true, but once you start adding all the sports games from EA, so that's all covered now. So you've got your Maddens, obviously for the American audience. You've got your FIFAs for the UK, and then you've got all that. And now the last big sport, I guess, of that was baseball, and now it's got it covered.
Yeah, they've got everything on there. So all the sports fans are just like, right, I've got that. It's sorted. Yeah. So and obviously we had Outriders come out this week, which we'll talk about a bit later. And I personally, because we had there was a big discussion on our Discord this week about the value of Game Pass, and some people saying, well, it's all just shitty games, and I don't think it's good value. And I was like, well, it depends on your personal taste of games, right? What is good value to you? Because obviously I've got PC and Xbox Ultimate, because I've got Ultimate, and I'll get like a whole slew of games, and there's a lot of gems on there, especially if you're an RPG fan. There's a lot of great RPGs on there at the moment, like Dragon Quest, and just added Octopath as well, and there's a few other games on there. So I mean, it's just interesting. I mean, obviously they've added Bethesda and EA now, and my other bit of news, which I'll segue into, is there's more rumors that Uplay Plus might be added to Game Pass this year as well.
Wow.
So, I'm not sure how true these rumors are, to be honest, because Ubisoft was now called Ubisoft Connect on PC. It used to be called Uplay Plus, and that was actually. It's actually more expensive than the monthly sub to Game Pass by £1 or £2. So I struggle to see how they could reach an amicable deal, to be honest. But it could happen. You never know, right? But that would be a big win, even if it's just for the console and they didn't touch it on the PC side of things. So yeah, we'll see, man. It's you know, I mean, I was so excited when they announced this MLB The Show was coming out. I was like, oh my fucking god, I can't believe it. That's amazing. So, you know, as a big fan of the sport, probably one of the 2 people in the UK who got excited for that. But yeah, I think it's great news, to be honest.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay, a little bit of sad news, and then we'll move on to some other good news. Why is all the bad news at the minute Sony related? I do not like. People are going to think we're fanboying here, but it's just the news, right? So, Sony's confirmed. I think we briefly touched on this last week. Sony's confirmed that they're going to be shutting down the PlayStation Store for the PS3, PSP, and the Vita. The PS3 and PSP stores will be shut down on the July the 2nd, and the PSN store for the Vita will be shut down on the 27th of August. Now, there's already a lot of people upset about this who own those systems, and I've seen a lot of discussions online about people just saying, well, it's just sad for the conservation of older titles, especially titles that never got a physical release. So we're hitting that stage now where we're going to see digital games just disappear, which you know, is sad because there is a whole community out there that like are trying to conserve like all the video game history. So it's going to be a bit of a struggle there. But there's also a lot of other sites that I've seen are saying, look, there's a lot of games on the PS3 especially which came out physical and digital, but they only come out in physical limited numbers, and some of them are quite obscure JRPGs, and they're saying already that they reckon if you own these physical copies, the price of them is just gonna go crazy because they're gonna become proper collector's items. So I hope you guys kept your PlayStation 3 physical collections because they might be worth a little bit of money in the future. Now, a little bit of discussion I wanted to touch on this, guys, though, was quite interesting because I remember back in the day, obviously, I used to be all PlayStation up to the OG Xbox coming out, and I kind of switched. But the PS2, I mean, Sony have always been very good with their backwards compatibility up to a point. So you had the PS2 came out and it was fully backwards compatible with the PS1, which automatically gave you a really large backlog, and that was very good for gamers. And then you had the PS3 came out on launch day, it was backwards compatible with PS2 and PS1. And then later on in the PS3 generation, they took away the PS2 back compat because it was actually the hardware inside, so it was cheaper to make the PS3 systems without the backwards compatible for PS2, but every single PS3 is backwards compatible with PS1 discs. And then obviously you had the PS4 and it was like, well, fuck you, we're not really going to do it. And I can see arguments for both sides, right? So you've got arguments where people say, well, I'd buy a next-gen console to play new games, not old ones, and I can see that as a valid point. And Sony have probably got a lot of data to back up to back up that not many people really play the older games on the new systems anyway, so I can see it from a financial point of view. But on the flip side, it's kind of a goodwill thing to your customers, right? And this is where Microsoft are getting a lot of brownie points in the gaming community. You've got the Xbox Series X and the Xbox One systems, which are backwards compatible all the way back to the OG Xbox. Now, that's not all games, though. It's most games, but I was saying in our Discord group earlier today that I've got a shitload of Xbox 360 digital games that I cannot install on the Xbox One or the Series X, so it's still limited, but they are really trying to push the backwards compatibility with the majority of the games. Now, you've got the PS5 that's come out, and obviously it's backwards compatible with PS4, but what's going to happen in the future? Because there's nothing for PS1, PS2, or PS3. Now, you could say, well, perhaps in the near future they might push all those older games out on digital, but you might have to rebuy them, you know, which would suck. So, it's just an interesting thing because the problem is, you know, older systems, like, you know, they could break down, you might not be able to get hold of a newer one, technologies change, you know, so like trying to play a PS1 or a PS2 on a modern TV sucks now because they don't have SCART sockets or anything, so it's like, well, you can't. So a lot of people can't physically plug their older systems into modern TVs. So you come across a lot of barriers to entry if you're wanting to play older systems. So yeah, I don't know what you guys think about this but I would like to see all systems fully backwards compatible with all older titles and digital ones as well.
They'll probably end up trying to do something with PS Plus, the PS Now thing, I'd imagine, to try and counteract it, because obviously the other thing that was quite weird that I remember seeing this week as well is there were developers that only found out the same time as everyone else that they were shutting the stores down.
Yes.
Yeah, and
There was
that's
a couple-
really
there was a-
bad.
Were in the midst of making Sony have probably pissed off a bunch of indie developers that are probably going to be like, right, I ain't sticking their games on your system now. Fuck you.
Yeah, I read that as well. There was a few. There's a couple of titles with Vita that they're rushing to get them finished now before the release. So at least they have some kind of release, out there to make some money. I mean, they'll probably benefit from that to a degree. A lot of the hardcore would want to get as much, Vita gaming out there as possible. So hopefully it'll work out for them, even though, about a month or two later, you won't be able to buy the game full stop.
Yeah.
I'm my opinion at the moment. I think a lot of this is always progress, but at the same time, you need to have you need to future plan a lot, and I don't think Sony have been very good at doing that. They haven't been. They've been a kind of stop-start. They've been waiting to see whether or not they do something, as opposed to having a clear vision and going after it and setting. I mean, you got to get to a point. They have all this content out there, and all these games that are literally sitting, and want them abandoned. No one can play them. I mean, if you were to go for PlayStation 4 to a degree, there's some old PS2 titles on there you can pick up. And I picked up Parappa the Rapper 2 recently, which I thoroughly enjoyed, and Fantavision as well, which I hadn't played in 20 years. So, there are these kind of releases out there, and they do have come about, but I think you're not really going to have a massive library of games on Sony at the moment. You're not. A lot of these titles also, are they're all in the emulator scene as well. Yeah. So that's why they seem to be living now. And I'm pretty sure that Sony will got an eye on that, will want to capitalise. But how do you do that if you haven't put the infrastructure in place?
Yeah, and this is the thing, right? And what makes me angry to a degree is a lot of people will say to me, because obviously a lot of people know that I like to emulate and etc. etc. I've got a little YouTube video about Launchbox on the channel, but a lot of the only way that you can play a lot of older games now is to download a ROM illegally and to run it on an emulator on a PC or a Raspberry Pi or whatever device you can, and the companies aren't making any money off that. But if there's no other way of playing those games, what can you do, right? And it's just a sad state of affairs, really. And I think Nintendo are guilty of this as well. I mean, they've got a big back catalogue as well, which people would lap up and buy a lot of these games, but they just don't offer them. It's like Sony just don't like free money, easy fucking money. I mean, they could re-release a lot of these old games and people will rebuy them.
I think it's slightly different to with Nintendo's case. It's a bit like an easy comparison I could give you is Walt Disney or the Disney company, and they had what was called the Vault, where certain films would get limited, releases on DVD or VHS back in the day before they cancelled, and you won't be able to buy that film again for a few years. And then Nintendo followed that strategy quite clearly, in the sense that every so often, a new console comes along and they hold off, and they'll find a way of monetizing their back catalogue to give. And it does work to a degree. We're kind of seeing that to some extent with the online pass. I mean, all the key big Nintendo games are on the online subscription, such as all the Super Mario's, Yoshi's Island and so forth.
Yeah.
And then there's lots of obscure ones as well, which they're kind of going through, stuff that you've probably never heard of, or you've only read about back in the day. There's that way of going about it. But I don't know. I'd like to see. I want to see Sony do well. I want to see Sony jump on board and actually, have a home, so people can actually experience a lot of their history.
I mean, they've got a very rich history of games there. You could do that. Yeah,
you can do it. You can do it to a degree with the mini PlayStation, although they fucked that up by not having the games that anyone really wanted to fucking play. I don't know. They seem to be ongoing a lot at the moment. I'm not sure you guys feel about that.
Our PlayStation. As I say, I mean, competition is healthy because it only benefits us gamers. So I want to see the big boys, Microsoft and PlayStation, battling it out. That's what I want to see. Because without competition, it'll be us, the customer, who gets shafted. And I feel that Sony are now. I mean, this is just the impression I get. I don't know if this is true or not. I just get the impression that they're too heavily relying on their brand name to stick to the loyal customers, because the £70 price point for their studio games, as I said before, it's too much. It's daylight robbery in my eyes, especially when you compare it to the subscription service that Microsoft are offering, and they're not offering the back catalogue. I just want to see Sony just offering a bit more for their system, and it's just hard to see them trying to just bringing it back this generation,
Yeah.
Well, they're still leading in the sales and everything, aren't they? So
yeah, of course.
They might not even be looking at it in that way, just thinking, oh well, fuck it, we don't even need to do anything. We'll still probably win out in the end and stuff. But even for me, obviously, the main draw from Sony, for myself, is their first party sort of exclusives and stuff. Now, some of those I would be willing to pay like 70 quid for, like your God of Wars and your Horizon and Ghost of Tsushima. I think those kind of are roughly worth 70 quid because they're full games. You don't really get too many games that are actually full games now. They're full of DLC, microtransactions and other crap. And obviously, when we'll get to another game that we'll talk about later on, I can't really think of many games, maybe bar Days Gone, that actually released in a broken sort of state and had actual issues with them. They all pretty much work as intended out the gate.
Yeah.
But a lot of their stuff they've got coming on the PS5 for their exclusive stuff, like Returnal or whatever it is that's out this month. Got no interest in that whatsoever.
Yeah.
Especially not for 70 quid.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. It's weird. It's like the beginning of this gen is there's just no games to really be excited for at all. It's just very strange, and any games that you are excited for, they come out and they're just fucking broken at the moment. And this is on all systems. I'm not talking about PlayStation. I'm just talking about in general. This generation on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation, the games that have come out, they've just come out freaking broken. It's been so disappointing. It's just a sad state for games to be in general at the moment, and I just want to see what happens in the next couple of years, because I know obviously when the Xbox One and PS4 came out, we're in a very similar situation with a little bit of a drought anyway. But yeah, just carrying on about PlayStation. Sorry, Darren, I went off on a bit of a tangent then.
Yeah, no, I was just about to say and obviously the other thing is the niche sort of Japanese titles, which they are severely lacking at the moment because they've pissed off the Japanese market.
Well, and you see that Microsoft are picking all those up now as well, right? So,
well, yes and no, not really. They're mainly all going over to Nintendo. Pretty much.
There's a lot going to Nintendo, but I'm talking about games like Dragon Quest, Octopath, the Yakuza franchise. And those are the sort of games you would never see on an Xbox a couple of years ago, and all of a sudden they're getting these games on.
Microsoft just abandoned it, literally, didn't they? They didn't piss off the devs to force them out. They just kind of gave up.
Yeah.
And even now, their Xbox are still selling like shit in Japan anyway,
Yeah.
with the One X and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, even looking ahead to like the PS, like PlayStation releases, like PS5 Japanese games, there's fucking hardly anything.
Mm.
Like, and all of the ones that are actually kind of coming out, they're sort of PS4 games with like a slight PS5 upgrade,
Yeah.
because they don't want to just go balls out and do a PS5, because like a lot of the Japanese audience aren't really that interested per se. So they're
Well, and
probably
there's
going to
not.
hold off and just release PS4 and then stick it on the Switch or whatever if they want to stick it on something else.
Well, and I think the problem that both systems have got is they're not in a lot of consumers' hands still, because they've been struggling to get them off the production line, right? So,
True.
so of course, for the next 2 or 3 years or more, we're going to see games coming out on last and current gen systems, right? So, I'm not expecting anything massive, unless they're proper exclusives. But what did you have on PlayStation? Demon Souls as a PS5 exclusive. Is there anything else? I can't remember.
Yeah, a little bit of a news as well. Obviously, Sony have basically like abandoned and sort of basically shut down Sony Japan studio.
Yes.
Yeah, they lost another 2 people last week.
Bloody hell, they're losing people left, right, and centre.
So the character designer for Gravity Rush has left.
Yeah.
And the guy that oversaw the Demon's Souls remake has also left.
Oh wow!
Sony.
Okay. That by all accounts is a very good remake.
Keep it up. Like, well, technically, I still class Demon's Souls as pretty much one of the only like true next gen games I've actually played.
Fair enough.
But actually, just felt next gen completely out the gate.
Mm. Okay. Awesome. Shall I move on to other news anyway?
They need.
I think we've kicked the corpse of Sony enough, so
we're going to be accused of being Sony bashes.
Well, no, I like I said at the start of last gen, when I was turning into Xbox, I just go where the things are that I'm interested in are. And if someone does something stupid, I'll fucking call it out.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Right, what's that? What else has been happening?
So, other bit of news this week is that there's rumours that Remedy and Epic are working on Alan Wake 2 at the moment.
Good God. I'm surprised you weren't as squealy about this as well.
Well, I'm excited, but the thing is, because apparently there was some Alan Wake related DLC in Control. I've not played it. I've not installed. I've not bought it, so I need to watch that on YouTube.
I've played about half of it.
Any good?
It's pretty good. I need to finish
Alan Wake
it.
Much?
He's in it. It's kind of weird. He's like projected on the walls like it's a movie. It's kind of
how odd.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like he's talking in your head, but he's talking to you in real time. But it's recordings. There's a lot of discovery. There's a lot of recordings and files you have to find.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
It's good so far. I need to finish it.
Yeah, you do. So I want to hear about it. But yeah, I am excited because Alan Wake, the original one, kind of ended in a way that you would expect to see a sequel. So I mean, it's taken a long time for any news or anything to come out about this. I'm hoping these rumors are true.
You remember American Nightmare?
Yes, American Nightmare was pretty decent actually. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That's all that piece of news. My last piece of news that I personally have, you guys might have some more. Genshin Impact. You will know that free-to-play game. That looks very pretty. It's decent.
No.
Well, it's free-to-play. And you can play on PS4, PC, and your mobile phone, but it's also coming to PS5 very soon. It's made over $1 billion in 6 months.
Wow.
Because it's a gacha game. It's a gambling game.
The thing is that I've played it. I've not finished the main campaign, but apparently you can just finish the main story without spending any money.
Yeah, but that's not the main appeal of a gacha game. It's getting lucky with your random card
Yeah, I
pulls and
know.
your loot
Yeah.
boxes and all that shite. Which is
Yeah.
why I just stay away. Like, you should just be able to earn what you want from playing a game, not literally rely on RNG to get everything all the time.
Well, it is free to play, so they've got to make money somehow. And they've made a hell of a lot of money. So it's obviously working very well for them. So, no, I just thought that was quite an interesting piece of news, really.
Yeah.
$1 billion.
It's the good old mobile market, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
People love spending money on
Well,
mobile
more money than
games
sense,
for
these
some reason.
people. That's all my news. Any news from any of you guys that I've missed? Haven't mentioned?
I haven't got anything this week.
There was one.
Okay.
Xbox are going to be bringing out a Series X themed mini fridge.
Oh, yes, I did. I remember seeing this on Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did everybody vote in the Twitter poll? I did.
Yeah, it was like a Twitter poll thing saying like it was to do with brands or something, and for some
Skittles versus Xbox.
Yeah, there was some pretty decent, funny Twitter brands that actually got knocked out, and I was like, how the hell did Xbox make it to the final? I've never really seen them post anything like remotely that funny, Twitter. But yeah, it came down to Skittles and Xbox, and they sort of said like, oh, if we win, then we'll start producing like Xbox Series X mini fridges.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the voting, the poll, it came out to 50.5% for Xbox and 49.5% for Skittles. People love Skittles.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get a Series X mini fridge.
Yeah, they're now going to be making stuff that isn't just a different coloured controller for once.
Well, the thing is, right, I want to do a little bit of Xbox bashing, just very, very briefly, right? These fucking controllers, these coloured controllers that they're doing, are fucking shit. Because the back of all of them is white. Why can't they make the whole controller the same fucking colour? So you get like a blue controller, but the bottom of it's white. You get a fucking red controller, the bottom of it's white. They're all white on the bottom. It makes no fucking sense. Someone tell me why you think that's a nice thing to do.
Could it annoys you? I don't know.
Who was it that used to collect all the different coloured controllers?
That was Hogarth.
It's Hogarth, yeah.
He must be struggling. There's so many controllers now. There's more controllers than games for the Xbox, I think. If you're trying to collect all the different controllers.
Yeah, here we go, right? This is an example. This is the blue controller that they're selling. Look at that, it's fucking butt ugly.
And it's got the white battery pack, right?
Yeah,
That's what
it's like, hey everyone, look at our sexy blue controller, and they only show you the front, and then you go onto like shop2.net or a website to go and buy it, and you're like, hang on a minute, and they show you the back. It's like, that's not a blue controller, that's blue and white, and they do that on all the Series X controllers. Fucking gash! Why are you doing it, you retards? Sort it out.
They're probably saving money on colouring the plastic, I guess.
I
think that's fine. I think you can have a nervous breakdown, mate.
You are a man of poor taste, Mr. Cinema Dan.
I really couldn't give two shits, mate. Does it feel good? Does it work? Done.
No, right. If you're so you get a controller with your system, right? So you don't need to buy another one unless it's for like you want to do 2-player co-op or whatever. But you think, oh yeah, I fancy a funky coloured controller. Oh yeah, this blue one looks nice. Turn it over. What the fuck? You know, it just makes no sense. They didn't do that last generation with the Xbox One controllers. They were just all blue, all red, or whatever. You know, and what pisses me off even more is they advertise it. Here's a nice blue controller, and no one even fucking says on the comments or anything, yeah, but it's white on the bottom. No one even seems to fucking notice or give a shit. Well, I give a shit. Oh, if I'm buying a blue fucking controller, I want a blue fucking controller. Not with white on it. You fucking cheating me of my colours, you bastards. Yeah.
You're okay. You had enough now.
It's just fucking stupid. Like, even Rubbish Username in a Twitch has said, I nearly bought the blue one, and then I saw the white on the back, and that put me off. would be so much nicer a solid colour. I 100% agree with you, Rubbish. There is a man of
true.
common sense, Mr. Rubbish username. Hero. There you go.
I can't really say anymore. I think, yeah.
That is my little rant. It's just fucking retarded.
Maybe
It really
they
is.
give you some pens and you can colour it in yourself on the board.
Ooh, or stickers.
Yeah.
I had one more bit of news that I saw on Twitter this evening.
Go on, Em.
Go for it.
I saw Respawn Entertainment have teased that for Season 9 of Apex, if you're a Titanfall fan, you should be excited. So
Ooh.
that's something encouraging.
Nice.
I might actually play that then.
I will also play it. If there's going to be an operator that has a Titan, everyone will be wanting to play
I
them.
think I also saw something about they're going to be adding private matches and stuff to the game as well, so you can sort of like set up your own games with your friends and that. Easier.
Can we get a Titanfall 3, please? It had a great campaign and it had a good multiplayer, but it died too quickly.
Yeah, I like Titanfall.
See, that's the thing. Do you reckon they are going to do another one, or do you reckon they're just going to coast off Apex for a while?
Well, they need to evolve Apex, don't they?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. If you look at the main competitor, which is Fortnite, I don't know, they just go down fucking Madcap Alley every fucking series.
They're set in the same universe, Apex and Titanfall. They're set in the same universe.
So you might as well. I mean, the coding's there and the gameplay's there and the familiarity with the mechs are there, and it's part of the lore. So at some point they needed to introduce them, but we'll wait and see. I mean, I'd be quite happy to do that.
For all we know, the next Titanfall could technically be a free to play, and they could actually merge it into Apex.
Yeah.
Because obviously I think Apex has made them a lot of money again off of like loot boxes and things like that. So.
Yep.
So that's the thing. If you're going to I think if you're going to put things like loot boxes and random nonsense into your games, make them at least free.
Yeah.
Because you're getting your money back on that. And obviously all these companies that do the free-to-play games generally come off out of it with a nice hefty profit.
Yes. I think we'll wait and see. I mean, that whole kind of industry is a law to itself. Let's be honest. It just basically
wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm sure I saw something the other day where like 12 countries have actually now started associating loot boxes to causing problems and issues with real gambling.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that. Because apparently it's become a thing over lockdown, isn't it? Where kids are spending a lot of money on like these FIFA packs and stuff.
Well, it was also someone internally was also, or the EA was actually started selling the high tiered cards illicitly.
Yeah, I heard that.
Really?
They what was it, a Ronaldo or something like that, a Cristiano Ronaldo, shiny fucking holographic foily fucker. I mean, it comes down to, well, this is what I'm trying to get my head around all this. I mean, I can understand the physical collection and the rarity of something because X amount has only been printed X amount of times, and that's why you've kind of got all these mad fuckers going crazy for Pokemon cards at the moment. But digital collections, and it's even weirder with FIFA as well because it resets every fucking year, and you can't carry your collection over. So I really don't get it. I don't understand it. I'm trying to get my head around it. It's like all these digital tokens now, like they're selling works of art for millions of dollars just to own the digital token over it sets within a blockchain. And maybe my brain isn't, it's still stuck in the 1990s. I think it is. I think it was nice there. It's all getting a little bit kind of fucking Blade Runner for my liking at the moment, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't get it either, but there we go. Any other news? We'll talk about games we've played this week.
Yeah, man. Do games, yeah.
Okay, who was first?
I think it was me. I think.
Oh, go on then, Dan.
I haven't really been playing that much. Well, I will do. Well, the main thing I've got to do this week, I've got a new peripheral, and it is the Hori Switch Pro controller. Switch. Sorry. The split controller where you slot it either side of your Switch, and you literally control the game as if you would do like a proper gamepad. And it's all right, I suppose. It's no pro controller, I have to say that. There's no rumble on it, but it does the trick. It works quite well with Monster Hunter. So, I mean, you were talking about getting one of these, Webby, weren't you?
Yeah, because obviously I've been banging on ages about how my Joy-Cons are foobarred. And I did see this on Amazon. I thought, that looks quite nice. But what put me off was the lack of rumble. And obviously they have to be plugged in. You can't use them not plugged into the Switch.
Oh, yeah, you have to, because that's the power source. The power source is the Switch.
Yeah.
That kind of, yeah. I know what you're saying. Huh? What, you've seen the picture of it? What it looks like now?
Sorry, I'll mention this in a minute. It's completely unrelated, but I can almost imagine the pain. But yeah, carry on.
Yeah, it's fine. It works like. I will say it's a lot lighter than you would think it would be. I mean, I was thinking they're going to be a lot more heavy. I mean, if you pick up like a Switch Pro controller, there's a nice, healthy weight to it. This feels a bit light, and some of the analog sticks are a little loose. They're more akin, I suppose, to the 360 analog sticks in that regard, which some people like.
Yeah.
I'm used to something else a little bit tighter. But yeah, I mean, in terms of upgrading the handheld experience, it's well worth it, I think. And because the Joy-Cons, and especially when you're playing something like Monster Hunter, which I'll get onto in a minute, I was kind of struggling the whole kind of extended play in the handheld mode on that. So thumbs up for me, I'd say, for now. And yeah, I mean, the reason I got it was because of Monster Hunter. So yeah,
I was going to say, it looks comfy, mate. They look very comfy because they're very ergonomic is the correct term, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously the Joy-Cons are quite small, so if you've got bigger hands, I can see you getting hand cramps. Whereas this, like the Hori, I'm just watching a video now. It looks like, split like a proper controller, if that makes sense. With the bits that come out and all that. It looks good, mate. It looks good. I mean,
what
cheaper,
is
how much is it? 80 quid?
No, 40. I got mine for 44 quid.
Oh, that's not bad, actually.
Yeah. It's all right. I mean, as I said,
the Joy-Cons are 70, aren't they? The proper Joy-Cons.
Yes. I own 2 sets of those. One has drift issues. The other set works fine.
Yeah.
The other good thing about this, I have yet to try it on like a beat 'em up or whatever, but there is 2 flipper buttons underneath as well, which were a new addition.
Oh, that sounds cool. Brilliant.
So I've actually downloaded Apex Legends to give it a whirl at some point. So I'll report back at that at some point, because I'm thinking, well, let's give it a go. I mean, we were slagging it off the other week, but if it's something I can play in handheld modes with this, and not having the restrictions of the old Joy-Con kind of handheld mode, I might actually be half decent at it, but we'll see.
Man. No, brilliant, mate. Well, yes, cool. It sounds awesome.
Yeah, and then aside from Animal Crossing, which I play religiously still, Monster Hunter. I mean, the only thing I've really been playing this week is Monster Hunter Rise, which is quickly becoming the best Monster Hunter I've ever played, if I'm being honest.
Wow, that's some high regard.
Yeah, I mean, I would describe myself as a kind of a Monster Hunter casual, even though I played multiple versions of it. I get to a certain point in it, and I kind of just hit a plateau, and then I kind of get stuck and annoyed with it. This, on the other end, I've kind of learned from my mistakes of playing previous games. I've kind of gone a certain route in terms of leveling up and getting your gear kitted out, and I've literally focused on the offline mode first to get the best equipment I could get my hands on, and then I've gone into the online.
Yeah, you need to focus on like a single set of gear to try and get you through to as far as you want for the other armor sets that you do actually want, sort of a thing.
Oh, exactly. So I've been literally most of the week I've been hunting Rathians, beating the shit out of them.
Nice.
If you're not familiar, they're the big dragons, although there are variations of that species with subspecies and bigger and badder types of dragon further down the line. But I've also been doing the online lobbies, which are compared to what they were like in Monster Hunter World, which I thought was fiddly and a little horrendous.
Pretty horrendous,
This is perfect. I mean, I like joining other people's games rather than other people join my game. So I'm literally doing the online quests by going to the job board, selecting the quest I want to join on, someone else playing it. And because the player base is through the roof at the moment, because it sold tons of copies, I've been literally just going in and teaming up with complete randoms around the world, people from Japan, America, all over the place. It's silky smooth. Cool. It works. There's nothing quite like taking on one of the supposed big bosses, and there's four of you, and everyone knows what they're doing. There's people playing support characters, so but they're buffing you on the way as you go along, and you just got a big sword and you're hacking slashing. And occasionally, when you get to a big event, there's a few people who quite clearly haven't prepared enough, and they're fainting and dying and resetting it for everyone else. And I have to say, I haven't been doing that because I've done I've kind of gone slow and steady on this. But once I think it's great. I'm having such a great time with it, and it's a shame, as I said, you guys haven't picked it up yet. But I've got a feeling the way they're going to be. Sorry.
No, I was about to say I will be picking it up at some point because obviously I'm a series fan. But then I did remember something that pissed me off.
What's
you
that?
have to pay money to play online now, don't you, with Nintendo shit?
Yeah, you what was it?
It's like £18 or something. Yeah,
18 quid for the whole year. It's again.
I'm just getting sick of this. Like, free systems, and they all want you to give them money to just access the online features. It's kind of irritating.
Yeah, I don't really notice it, to be honest with you, because it's a one-off payment once a year, and what you get in return, you get all those Nintendo and SNES games, and you can download and play.
Which I probably wouldn't bother with.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's just the way of the world now, unfortunately, isn't it? These things cost money in terms of infrastructure and maintaining it, and I'm guessing they need to monetize. And if you were to make everything free, you'll end up with a piece of shit. That was like the initial days of the PlayStation Network, which was a big bag of shit, if I'm being honest. You get what you pay for or don't pay for. But yeah, if the netcode works a treat, it's really, really fucking good. The graphics, I mean, I the other day I was playing it and my battery started running out on my pad. So I was literally mid-fight. So I literally had to dock it quickly, pick up the Pro, and it was, again, no problems at all. I was out by about 5 seconds or so from the main battle before I was back on the telly with my Switch charging, and I was, and the graphics as well, the way they upscale immediately, it was like it just pops. Everything, even looked great on the small screen. As soon as you went to the big screen, it was like, whoa. Yeah, one of the best games I've played this year, if not the best game played this year. So I highly recommend it.
Speaking about the upscaling as well, someone else brought this up because obviously with a lot of the Japanese developers now moving over to the Switch, there's a lot of people saying that if this rumoured 4K compatible Switch does make an appearance at some point this year or is actually a true thing, it could be real competition.
Yeah. I mean,
systems.
It's exactly. I mean, this is. I mean, we keep talking about ray tracing and teraflops and SSD cards and everything, and I'm of the opinion is that if your games aren't there, who cares? But again, because of the install base in Japan and across the world, this is why the Switch is becoming, or it is a console which you should own if you love gaming, because you'll have all these titles, all these original stuff come along, and stuff that wouldn't necessarily work on the Xbox or PlayStation.
If they do decide to maybe do another machine after the Switch, I believe they're going to go down the same route again. It'll be a hybrid handheld. And we've already had consoles from Nintendo before that fully allow backwards compatibility with the other games.
Yep.
Like you could play 3DS games on DS games on the 3DS and stuff like that. So
it was also like GameCube to Wii as well.
Yeah.
So you can play GameCube games on the Wii. Likewise on Wii games on the Wii U. So there's an element of that. And I think what I suppose going back to what we were saying about Microsoft earlier, what's quite apparent, they've demonstrated the benefits of developing your ecosystem and taking everything forward with you. So if Nintendo are smart, that's the way. That's the way that all companies now will do it. But we'll see. Fingers crossed. Yeah, and that's about it really this week. It was Bunny Day today in Animal Crossing, so I've been collecting eggs all bloody day, dealing with a hangover, hours of fun, and that's it. I suppose there's nothing really else that is getting me excited at the moment. Although I'm looking for, I might give Outriders a little go, which I know you guys can talk about shortly. Yeah. But again, I was waiting for that to calm down a little bit and not be a fucking shit show when you log on.
Fair enough. Sly.
Hi.
Are you still awake?
Are you awake?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been very quiet.
Oh,
I
no,
was so excited about coming on. He said, "Fuck all."
Oh, it's probably because he's half asleep.
No, I'm all right. I'm all right. I played some games.
Good.
I wrote them down. Most recently, I played Cold War, Call of Duty. They're actually quite good. I've been playing the zombies mode with a friend. There's this map. There's a new one called Outbreak, where it's not quite like the other zombie maps where you round based and you're opening doors and stuff. It's almost open world, but you do objectives, you do little side quests, you level up your guns, and your progress sort of carries over as well. So you can,
Nice.
whatever gun you're using in zombies, you'll get levels for it, and you'll unlock attachments, and then you always start with a gun.
Okay.
Whereas you used to just start with a handgun and you'd buy them off the wall or from the box. Now you make a loadout. You'll pick a gun and you'll pick an ability. The one I use is called Ring of Fire, and you activate it by pressing. I'm on PlayStation. You press L1 R1, and it activates this ring of fire. Believe it or not, and any zombies that step in the ring, they catch on fire. They get this purple fire on them, and then you shoot them, and they take more damage. And you do objectives like you'll protect like beacons, or you'll escort like a drone or something to a destination. Because in this zombie universe, there's like dimensional travel and portals. It's trippy, but it's cool. And you can level up your guns. You can get the ray gun, and it's like the legendary status, which is the best you can get. And you unlock these crystals, and the crystals let you like customize your loadout, upgrade your perks, and you can actually like rank up your perks. So you can get your Juggernog up to tier 5, and that gives you an ability when you get it. So that's like what would normally be a lethal hit that would down you. If you have Juggernog, it just destroys all your armor and puts your health at 1 instead, so you survive. So there's a lot of depth
It's nice to have longevity in that mode. Yeah, because like it is kind of a mode that you really enjoy, but then you just get downed almost instantly, and you're like, back to the start again.
Yeah, and you do these objectives. There's like an exfil option where you have to like fight off a wave of zombies, and then a chopper comes and picks you up. And if you extract successfully rather than dying, you get like experience that you can use to then level up your guns and level up your perks.
That's the unique PlayStation mode at the moment, isn't it?
Is it?
I
think there is a mode that is.
I'm playing it on. I'm on the I'm on PS5. Let me look it up because I didn't know if it was exclusive.
Any celebrities in it this time?
No, but it does. Not that I know of, but it does have a character from the original Black Ops campaign, and he's crossed over into the zombies. It's weird because from what I understand, and I only play zombies every now and then, but at the end of the last zombies Easter egg in Black Ops 3, apparently they reset the universe or something. So this new zombie universe is similar but not the same one, and it's a parallel universe or something. They get really in depth with that kind of thing.
Brian Blessed was in one of them, wasn't he?
Yeah. So this one's called... No, the one you're talking about is called Onslaught mode, which is a
Onslaught.
two player survival mode. This one, the one I'm talking about, this zombie map it's called Outbreak. So I think that's for everybody. I haven't played Onslaught. But yeah, there's that map, and then there's a couple other like traditional maps, I guess, where you like open the doors and you spend money to open doors. Whereas these ones are all open-ish on Outbreak. But you run across a big field. You can get a motorbike or a car at one point or another and drive to your objectives. There's these jump pads where you end up in the sky. You pull your parachute and you have to like soar down to the objectives and collect things along the way. My friend had a weird glitch happen. He has this perk that means you don't take full damage, so he thought he'd be funny and cut his parachute. And when he hit the ground, he was still wearing his parachute and running around with it on his back. And it took away his HUD, and he couldn't see his bullet counter or his perks or anything. That was weird. And also his character model was sliding on the ground like he was on skates. It was really interesting to see.
That's always a classic. Like that was in Division 1, wasn't it? People used to do that all the time.
Yeah. I've been really enjoying what I've played of Cold War, and I'm playing it on PS5, obviously, and I've got the PS5 enhanced version. Because Activision didn't do the smart delivery or whatever. They made you pay for the upgrade, so I ended up buying the PS5 version. It's one of two actual PS5 games I own I guess that released that I didn't get from PS Plus. And I bought a new TV, so I'm running it in 120 hertz performance mode.
Did you get Demon's Souls?
I did. I have played a bit. I've beaten 2 or 3 bosses. It's tricky.
Oh, okay.
It's really,
So you played
really
it a
tricky.
little while, then.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's probably harder than the other Souls games, to be honest.
Well, yeah, it's the first one, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's supposed to be the
I
hardest.
do appreciate all the shortcuts and bits and how the world all joins up. But I think more so than the other ones, it's a lot more zone based. Like you use your fires or whatever to teleport.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's not as connected as say something like Dark Souls 1, which I have also played somewhat recently, and that world is amazing in how interconnected it is.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Bloodborne was really good for the different routes and stuff as well, and unlocking paths back to take shortcuts.
I tried playing that the other day, but there's no like PS5 enhancement or anything, so it still runs at 30 FPS, and it hurts me.
Now, the majority of the people who worked on that have all buggered off.
They just need to unlock the frame rate. It runs at 30 and it hurts me because Demon's Souls runs at a very nice 60 and it looks in 4K and it looks amazing. And all you need to do for Bloodborne is just change the 30 FPS to 60 and I'd play it all day long. It just doesn't look right.
It's got a huge following as well. Bloodborne,
yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It sold a lot of PS4s as well when it came out.
Sure it did. When I got a PS4, it was one of the games I got. It was Bloodborne. But yeah, PS5, it's 2 games I own, I guess, on disc that I didn't get from PS Plus are COD and Demon's Souls, because there's really not much else. I mean, I haven't bought Sackboy. I've never played like a Little Big Planet game. I probably should.
I thought did you play that robot game that came with your PS5?
Oh yeah, but that comes pre-installed on the console.
Oh, okay, I was just wondering if you played it. Okay.
Astro's Playroom. Yeah, I played it.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It shows off the features of the controller quite a bit, like the rumble and the tilt and that kind of stuff.
So you've got Series X and a PS5, Sly, haven't you?
I do.
So which is your favourite one at the moment?
Series X.
Oh, didn't even have to pause on that one, did you?
No. It's not because I'm an Xbox fanboy. It's not. I just like what they're doing with the backwards compatibility, the auto HDR, the FPS boost, like the supporting the old titles. Whereas PS5 to 4 games, there's like a small amount of PS4 games that have enhancements when you put them on. There's a tiny amount of them. Most games just run as they do on PS4.
Bloody.
And the
what's
Game
name?
Pass as well. That's a plus for the Xbox.
What's the name of it? Oh, bloody, the name's literally, it was in my mind, it's just disappeared, where the games auto-update to the Series X version.
Smart delivery.
Smart delivery, now...
Oh, yeah, there's a story about Avengers. Have you heard about this story?
Yeah.
Have you read it?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's basically, on the Xbox, it just automatically upgrades to the Series X version. Whereas on the PlayStation, is it installed in 2 versions of the game? Is that right?
So there was this article from this games journalist. He was saying that playing Avengers on his PS5 was a nightmare because he had it on the 4, and then he downloaded it on the 5, and it wasn't an automatic upgrade. He had to manually go and do it.
Yeah.
And then to get his save data to go from PS4 version to PS5 version, he had to update the PS4 version, which was like an 80 gig patch, load up the menu, upload his save, load up the PS5 version, download his save after updating his PS5 version, and then he said that crashed, and then eventually it worked, but he said he had to download the updates for both the PS4 and 5 version to do it. And then
technology
the way it's
wonderful.
and the way it's done on the Xbox is doesn't matter which version you have, you just put it in and it works, and then you don't have to download your saves. It's all there. It's all in the cloud. It's all ready to go. You just put your Avengers disc in whichever Xbox you feel like playing that day, and it works. So smart delivery is really useful, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every like Xbox is doing like the simplicity thing pretty well. Like doing things how they should actually work. Like I don't always see why things are such a pain in the arse, to be honest.
Yeah, my example of that, I've got a couple of examples of that. Mine would be over Christmas or near Christmas. I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla on the One X, and then I got the Series X, and my experience was put the disc in the Series X, download the updates, go. Oh, there's my save data. Back where I was, and it was seamless. It was effortless. So yeah, smart delivery, quite useful, pretty good feature to have.
Yeah. Okay, what have you been playing, dude?
I've played a bit of Warzone on and off with Collie Wally. Still playing that one every now and then. Yeah, it's been good. We shoot people, we parachute in. They introduced some new guns, I think, in the latest update. The weapons from Cold War that weren't in it before. There's also this map called Rebirth where you can respawn as many times as you want as long as the teammate's alive. Yeah, it's pretty good. Don't really need to talk about Warzone anymore. It's been talked to death, I think.
Yeah, agreed.
I've also been sinking a lot of time into Rocket League. I play a lot of ranked. I'm on the cusp of diamond. Wow. I used to commit like 3-4 hours a night. Now it's more like 2 hours every couple days. So progress is slowing, but I'm getting really good at aerials. Like I can hit balls in the air from miles away just by using my boost tactically. And we're talking about going to this like LAN competition that's held at a university here. Yeah, we're going to get team shirts and everything. Super nerds, but we're going to go to the pub afterwards, so it's fine.
Brilliant. Yeah, it's one of those games, it's easy to pick up, but very hard to master. Really,
it is, and I wouldn't claim to be a master at it. There are people I play in online tournaments, and they're just the ball never touches the ground on their half.
That's insane, absolutely insane.
I'm good at like hitting it in the air, but some people don't let it leave the air. Some people are able to bounce it off their car to the teammate in the air, bounce it off them, and still have enough boost to make it all the way to the other side of the pitch. I can't do that yet. I'm not that good.
Cool.
Yeah. Now a game I've only played probably about an hour and a half of the other day. I would have liked to have played more, and in fact, it was a toss-up between having a 2.5-hour nap or playing more of this game. I chose the nap. That game would be Dark Pictures' Anthology Man of Medan, which I've not played.
That game, yeah.
Yeah, so I played Until Dawn back when I got a PS4. I think it went on like PS Plus, like right when I got a PS4.
It did. It did indeed.
Yeah, Until Dawn was great. I really enjoyed that. So I've started this up, and it starts out a bit slow, and I don't know the relevance of the introduction scene yet to the rest of the story. But you start out and you're not playing as the core characters. You do a little bit as this army guy, but it kind of sets up the tension, and then you're a bunch of friends and you go on a diving expedition.
Yeah.
From what I've talked to a friend who's played this, I think I'm not at a point yet where anyone can have died. So I haven't had sort of big moments yet. But I've done a little dive. I've gone and looked at this plane in the water, and now everyone's telling ghost stories. And that's apparently my relationships with characters really matter, just like they did in Until Dawn. Because if you had a bad relationship with someone in Until Dawn, that basically got them killed. So if it works anything like Until Dawn did, then I'm going to work on keeping my relationships up to not get people killed.
Yeah, it's really well done.
Yeah.
I love this game.
I really liked Until Dawn, and I managed to get through Until Dawn without anybody dying on my first run through, which is quite challenging. Because they had those things where you, with the PS4 controller, where you weren't allowed to move it. You had to have it like perfectly still, or you got detected. They don't obviously have that because the game was on Xbox as well. So now they have this thing. I've only done one of them, but it's like a heartbeat test where you have to tap A in rhythm to the heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I've heard, so the tutorial one's easy, but from what I've heard is they get really difficult near the end of the game, and if you slip up, you just die. Like you just die. So I don't know if I'm going to be making it out alive with everybody, but I'm going to certainly try my best. And I enjoy it, and I will probably end up picking up. So Man of Medan's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think it's on. I'm not sure if it's on the PC and the Xbox. It's definitely on the Xbox. I'm playing it on Series X.
Well. It's on everything.
It is on PC. Yeah. Okay.
Which I think
is it on PC Game Pass? Do you know, Webby?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm playing it on the Series X.
Yeah.
Which good. And then I saw that there's a Bandai Namco sale at the moment, and Little Hope is one of the games that's on sale, which is, I guess, the next one in the series. So
yeah, and that's also very good. It's not as good as Man of Medan, but it is still good.
Yeah, it's like half price, so I might grab it.
Yeah.
Or I would wait it out, and it'd probably be on Game Pass at some point if Man of Medan made it on there. So that's good. Getting value out of the Game Pass there. Speaking of Game Pass, should we talk about Outriders?
Oh yes, you haven't got around to it yet. You've been teasing, then, yeah.
Yeah. So have you been playing it then? I haven't seen you play it.
I have played about 30 minutes. I did not play the demo. I have played the
so you've
game.
not even completed the demo content then?
I don't know how much demo content there is. I did the first mission. I got my little superpower, whatever, my ability. That's about it. I picked the Pyromaniac.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... I can see why it would be fun with friends. It's just kind of boring by yourself. It's just kind of a generic-y third-person shooter by yourself, isn't it?
It launched with a lot of issues. Obviously, the servers got fucked. People getting booted out left, right, and centre. I got booted to the Xbox dashboard a couple of times while playing this game the other day. But then it seemed to stabilise, and I managed to get about 3 or 4 hours into it. The one thing I will say about Outriders is you need to play it co-op. I mean, I've played it all single player. It is really hard playing it single player. You just get killed a lot. You really, really do.
Have you been macking up the global levels though all the time?
Well, what I've had to do is move the world tiers down when I've got to hard boss fights.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry, yeah.
Because
obviously, like some people make the mistake of just constantly like, oh, I'm there, up it. Oh, I'm there, up it. And eventually,
it's automatically
unless you've got the good gear, you're going to get.
Yeah. Well, there's an option that's automatically ticked to auto move it to the next world tier when you unlock it. So
weird. In the demo, you'd have to hold the button down to claim the reward and then bump it up. Sort of thing.
Okay, auto, and there's an option. Well, it was ticked on mine to auto, just push it up to the next one. Now, I was going to pick this up on PC, but obviously it's on Game Pass only on the console, so I've been playing it on the Xbox. It looks and runs actually really well on the Series X when it's working, which is a great
It
thing.
does.
A lot of people are comparing it to Gears. I would compare it more to The Division, to be honest. And I say that because...
It doesn't play as well as either of those games.
No, it doesn't. So the shooting does... It does something... I was saying this in party chat. I was playing it and I was just like...
It's off.
I know exactly which game the shooting feels like. It's Fortnite. It's Fortnite shooting. It feels like Fortnite shooting.
Fortnite shooting is actually really tight and controllable. Like the shooting in Outriders, I had to move my aiming sensitivity down to like 2, so I wasn't just completely overshooting enemies when I'm trying to hit them. It just felt so loose and weird.
It does feel weird because I've chosen the sniper class, and I've just been struggling to just fucking hit people with the sniper rifle, and it's not me being shit because I consider myself pretty much a pro gamer by this point in my life.
Or at least a shooter veteran.
Yeah, and it's just when you move your right thumbstick, it just doesn't feel like it's moving properly on the screen, if that makes sense. So it does feel very off the shooting, and I've had to turn the sensitivity down, but now it's like too fucking slow and it feels weird again. So that's that is a negative. Now, it does... I mean, I can see the comparisons to Gears, again, obviously because of the cover mechanics, but I'd compare it more to Gears of War, to The Division, sorry, because 1, it has the same cover mechanics, pretty much. 2, it has the world tiers, exactly like The Division, and the loot is pretty much nearly Division style. You do get more loot in this, I think, though, in treasure boxes or whatever, in the loot boxes around the world. But it's just... I mean, I got out of the demo because the demo area is kind of odd. It's because the way the game works is there's like, once you get out of that demo area, it's like a world map, and then you move to the next kind of big area, and then that's the only area I've got to, but the world map looks a lot bigger, so I'm guessing it's the same sort of thing. You know, you have each area, and then in each area you have X amount of main missions and a shitload of side missions dotted around the map. So you go and do your side missions, and obviously they don't count, you know, they give you loot and all that bollocks, and then you do your main missions, which kind of move you along the story, and then eventually move you on to the next area. And I wasn't really feeling the game, to be honest. I was slating it quite a bit. But now I've moved on to the second area, and I've played in the second area a little bit. The story's picking up a little bit, and I'm enjoying it a little bit more. Safe to say, I am enjoying it a little bit, but would I pay 40-50 quid for it? No, I fucking wouldn't. It's not, you know, and that's why I'm glad it's on Game Pass.
Well, I didn't.
Have you been playing it, Darren? You've bought it, haven't you? Right? Or did you not?
No, I cancelled my pre-order after the demo. I was like, no, I don't like this. Like, which is a shame because I was.
It suffers from a problem.
It's been shown.
Yeah,
it suffers from a problem I don't like, which is, I guess it has what I would call the Defiance or the Destiny problem, where I just don't care about whatever the story is. I just don't care. Yeah. I'm just like, skip. Just get me back to the shooting things, please.
Yeah.
And usually I actually quite enjoy story video games, but I don't know what it is. It's just those kind of like looter shooter games. I just don't care.
Yeah.
Destiny at least tries to sort of pepper it in while you're playing, but it's just with Outriders. I'm like, well, yeah, the second one more so than the first one, but I'm just like, I'm playing Outriders for the little bit that I played it, and I'm like, they're like, oh, we left Earth, and I'm like, cool. Can I shoot things yet? What's that giant thing running past? Can I shoot it? Just, I'm like, it's like walking around, and then it's like you're in your base, and it's like, oh, we need you to go out to this field and inspect this and find a probe. And I'm like, fine, but why is there a person? Why do I have to wait for a person to move a log out of the way so I can leave the base?
Yeah.
Just let me hop over the log. It feels like the game, at least at the start, I don't know if it changes, but it wants you to sort of wait for it to catch up and for you to go at its pace rather than letting you run off.
Everything and that.
Yeah, it's like, well, there's a tree log blocking the path, and it's like, do I really have to stand here while someone lifts it and moves it? It's like, just let me.
So one thing that I want to say about the game is, if you're planning it on your own, you're going to struggle because it is the difficulty doesn't scale like in other games. Also, the matchmaking is fucked at the moment, or at least when I was trying to play it a couple of days ago, I was trying to just find just random people to join, and it just kept on throwing up a matchmaking error every time, so I couldn't even play with randoms. Even
I think
if I
the
wanted
cross
to.
play's balked at the moment. Yeah, I think
that's
there has been slight
annoying.
issues.
And
I mean,
then
fair play for the transparency with the developers. Like they have
yeah,
kept everyone up to date with what they're
of
doing and
course.
like the issues.
But what I was saying is, like, I've been playing quite a bit of the Division 2 the last few weeks with Peebs and a few other people in the community. And it's just, like, and you know, they're very similar games. It's just, the Division 2 is a couple of years old now, and it just looks and feels so much more polished than this. This kind of just feels like a last gen game, like even a 360 style of game, you know, like the Defiance, if we will, just with pretty graphics. And I've really tried to like this and I've really tried to give it a chance, and I do want to carry on playing it, but I want to play it with other people in co-op just to give it a more of a fair shout as well, because I know we've been quite negative on it, but there, you know, I do enjoy just these type of games in co-op, and I feel if I could get one or two people in the community to game with, I think it would be a better time.
I'm being harsh on it, but that's only because my experience of it so far has been by myself. I think it would probably be more fun with. It's 1 to 3 players, isn't it? It's 3-player co-op.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the thing is, right? Destiny or Division, those kind of games, it's the same problem. I think those games are boring unless you play them with someone else, and you have you pair up your abilities. Like I'd be the pyro, Webby's the sniper, and it's making those combinations, effective, and how you progress through the stages of the levels. Whereas by yourself, you're just like, there's a bunch of things, and I might be able to kill them all by myself.
Well, this is the thing, right?
It feels it's the challenge factor.
Well, it makes me laugh because in the cutscenes, it shows you as this super fucking hero who's near on invincible, and then you play the game and you just get downed in a couple of bullets. You're like, oh, okay.
I did notice that. I felt like I was made of paper a bit. My screen was going red more often than not. There's a mission where you get your power. It's right at the start of the game, and you're fighting with these enemies in a trench. And I was like, I didn't die, but I came very close more than once. So,
I mean, when you start getting the loot rolling in and everything, it's going to be a lot more.
That loot screen is ripped straight from Destiny. That loot screen looks the same as Destiny.
I mean, when I watched all of the stuff going down when the game come out, and I could see everyone getting upset and everything, I was just like, this is why it should not have been an always online game. Like, I don't get it why you had to make it always online. Like, you claim you're not a games as a service, yet you require an internet connection and a subscription service to obviously whichever system you're playing it on. You are a games as a service. You're going to be giving the game constant updates and fondles, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
And then, you get the people that are like, oh, they had to do that because of, like, people cheating and duping the weapons and stuff and all of this. And I'm just like, there's no PvP. It doesn't matter. Like, that's an issue with when you have PvP and stuff in your games. And, like, you look at the very game that pretty much invented the looter-shooter genre, Borderlands. Every one of those games can be played offline. You don't need an online connection to play them.
I played Borderlands 3 by myself.
Issues as much. Yeah. So I don't get the need for always online, and they wouldn't have run into these issues if that had not been the case.
Do you know if Outriders does that level scaling thing?
But
I don't know.
What's that? Sorry.
No idea.
Does Outriders do level scaling?
Yeah, I think if you're playing with other people, it does bump the difficulty up a little bit. But only in story, I've heard. I think this is another issue because there's something called expeditions or like these other things you can go off into and do group activities in. and I think the scaling is balked on those at the moment, so they feel a lot easier to do and give you a lot more loot than actually doing the story.
Oh.
So there's a little tip for people who maybe are playing it at the moment. If you go off and do those other little excursions or whatever they are, then that seems to be where you get some nice loot a bit easier than going through the story.
Yeah. So I'll persevere. I'll probably play some more of it this week, and I'll come back with a more balanced review later on. Hopefully after I've played with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. A few more games. I completed Life is Strange 2 the other week. Now, I liked
it. Is that the Captain Underpants one or whatever it is?
That's a spin-off that came out before Life is Strange 2. Is Captain Spirit. He's a side character in. No, that's all right. He's a side character in Life is Strange 2. He's someone you meet at one point very briefly. He's not in it a great deal.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's like a little prequel game, that one. Life is Strange 2. Now, I think the reason I never finished this the first time I tried playing it is because it was episodic and the release schedule was pretty shocking, to be honest. Episode 1, I'm looking at it now, September 27th, 2018. I can tell you I played it at launch. And episode 5's release date, December 3rd, 2019. So it took 15 months to release 5 episodes.
Wow.
Which is, I think there's a reason after episode 3 I didn't go back. It's because it just took too damn long to release each episode, so I was losing traction. So I played, what did I do? I think I played episodes 1 through 3 about a year ago, and then I did 4 and 5 about 2 weeks ago. I sort of knew what was going on. I didn't need really a refresher. I just picked up on 4 and finished it because I thought otherwise I'll never finish this game. And no, I was still able to follow along. It's quite good. It's probably not as good as the first one. Maybe because I just don't like the characters as much. I thought it was visually a much better game. I think they put a lot of work into it. The writing's quite good, and there's also the multiple endings where your choices actually sort of matter. Whereas, are we allowed to sort of spoil Life is Strange 1, or should I?
You have to do what you want, mate.
It's quite old.
It's old, and they're not necessarily related either in terms of that. There's some characters from 1 that sort of make their way into 2, but at the end of 1, it basically comes down to choice A or choice B. You get 2 choices. In Life is Strange 2, you get 2 choices, but another character's reaction to that unravels options A, B, C, D, E, and F. So your relationship between, so it's 2 brothers on this road trip essentially. Your relationship with you play as the older brother, the younger brother. Your relationship with him sort of determines his actions in you pick one of the 2 endings. So you might think, we're going to do this, and he'll either follow along with what you do, or he'll challenge you and disagree, and that creates a splinter ending where you get one person goes somewhere, the other goes somewhere else. Really just trying to be vague because it's worth playing. But yeah, I made a choice that I thought was beneficial for everybody, and it turned out to be probably the shittest ending from what I saw on YouTube. I thought it was going to pan out. I thought I made some really morally just and righteous decisions all throughout the game, and I thought that I would be rewarded for that, and in reality I was not.
Can you let me know when the spoilers are over, Sly? Because Strokey's muted on the Twitch channel.
That's all right. Yeah, spoilers over. It's good. Life is Strange 3 is coming out. But it's not episodic. That's coming out this year. So I'll play that. It looks interesting.
Cool. And
they're also remastering 1 and Before the Storm, which was the 3-episode spin-off game that came before. So I'll play those probably for the easy chivos more than anything. But I did enjoy Life is Strange 1 a great deal, and I enjoyed 2, just probably not as much as 1.
Okay.
Next one, I've played Wreckfest a little bit. I joined the Gamer Night 3 weeks ago. I had to go to work but I woke up really early, like not really deliberately. I just happened to wake up early, so I thought, oh, I may as well join the game at night. So I played Wreckfest. That was fun. And I hopped on it right around when they released the Series X patch, the optimization patch. So it runs at 4K 60 and it plays really nice. Whereas I did play it once without the optimization patch and it was like 30 FPS and kind of choppy. So the Series X patch is quite nice, and I had good fun ramming people off the track. Dan liked wrecking me. I was in a bus at one point. We were doing the demolition derby mode, and I got rammed a bunch. I was in a bus. That was funny.
Serves you right. Might as well put a target on your ass.
We've had a lot of fun on that, haven't we, on the Game of Nights?
Wreckfest is great. It's really a good advertisement for what Game Pass can be. It's like grab Game Pass. It has all these great games like Wreckfest, and then all your friends can play together if everyone has Game Pass. You don't need to all go and buy the game. You just all need to have Game Pass.
Yeah, because it's like
play it for 2 weeks and then abandon it.
Well, it's like this week was Menno. I put the poll up on Facebook in it, and Battlefield 5 won the vote. And what happened on Good Friday? I should have realised it was Good Friday before I'd done the poll because people be at their families. But what happened? No one turned up, so I just sat and watched the baseball all night.
Oh.
Yeah, so hopefully this week we're going to do some Battlefield 5 if people actually bloody turn up. If not, it'll be Wreckfest from here on out because people actually seem to turn up for Wreckfest. So we shall see. Cool. What you played, Sly?
Just blow through the last couple. Rainbow Six Siege, I still play on and off. Yeah, I know it came out like 2014, I think.
They're actually bringing out an updated version of it, aren't they, for PS5 and like a complete edition, I think.
PS5 something like that. Yeah, there's new characters coming out. The Year 6 operators. The first one, I've seen him. What is his ability? Oh, he can do something with. He sends out a wave of drones that like blow up or something. He looks interesting. But every update they do, they like change the UI and they clean things up. They've added now when you spectate someone, you can see the gun they're using on the left in a little graphic. You can see the ammo. You can see their health bar as well, which you used to not be able to do that. And they are adding the ability now, I think. I don't know whether it's in this latest update or it's coming, but you're going to be able to control drones and cameras even after death. Because right now you can spectate cameras that are already there, but you can't drive drones even if you're dead. So if you're dead, you will be able to still drive drones around supposedly. So that's going to change things a bit. Probably not massively, but it'll change things. Because right now, if you die and you still have a drone active, you can use the camera on the drone, but it's parked where it's parked and it isn't moving again. But just like you can remote view the cameras. So Siege is still going strong. And I play that on the PS5 and on PC, and it's not cross-save and it's not cross-play. So it hurts me inside when I play on the PC because I don't have all my characters that I have on the PS5. But oh well. It does have a PS5 update. A free one, and it runs at, I want to say, it runs at 120. It runs at 120 hertz. It's great.
Nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's 4K. It's probably like 1440p. I don't know. It looks nice, and it plays at high frame rate, so it's good. It also has the haptic feedback adaptive triggers. You know, it does that on Call of Duty as well, where like certain guns you pull the trigger back and it takes longer to pull in the aim because it's got different tensions in it. I'm not sure I'm used to it yet. I'm getting there. It's a new sensation, but it's cool. Last couple of things. There's a mobile game. Yeah, mobile game. I didn't think I'd catch myself talking about one either, but here we are. It's called Rocket League Sideswipe. It's in beta at the moment. It's only available in, I think, Australia and New Zealand. So, yeah, it's pretty exclusive. But I'm on it. It's basically Rocket League on your phone, but instead of, over the top camera perspective, it's a side view. So the goals are on the sides of the screen, and you just try and hit the ball up, and it's on a slope. and you're trying to hit the ball up into a goal.
Weird. Okay.
It's still 3-on-3. It's got online. It's got like ranks and still uses your Epic Game account. It's quite good. I haven't played very much of it, but it's a good. I could play it on the bus or something. Like play a quick match. Matches are like 3 minutes instead of 5. It's just Rocket League, but it's on a side-on perspective instead of over the top of the cars. It's pretty good. I would play more of it. I recommend it when it comes to your local Android or Apple store. You should grab it. It's free, or at least the beta's free. I presume it's going to be free. If it's anything like Rocket League, the regular game, it'll be free. I was going to mention I have obtained some headsets. It's been discussed, I think, on here already, but I have the Xbox. I don't know what it's called, the new Xbox official headset, and I also have the Sony one, which is the Pulse headset. My review of them. The Sony one, I think the sound effects are better in that it tries to do that 3D sound simulation where positional sound. In terms of the comfort factor, it loses to the Xbox headset. The comfort factor is a big one for me. On the PS5, I think the ear cups are a little tight, and it's not easily. The headband isn't easily adjustable. Whereas on the Xbox, I think they've really gone for comfort on that thing. But I'd say the sound quality is probably better on the PS5 headset. But both are completely wireless. You don't need a cable to the controller. They have pretty good battery life. So I don't think I've had to charge them since I've used them. I've charged them both for about 6 hours when I got them, and I haven't had to charge them so far. So that's pretty good. Battery life seems good. The Xbox has the Xbox Accessories app, which lets you modify sort of the sound settings and the bass and the gain and the filters and all that thing. And you can do that through the Xbox itself. PS5 headset doesn't quite have that. It has you can set sort of what kind of room you're in, and you can sort of align. It says, if this is how you should adjust the ear cups. If you're hearing it at the top of the ear cup, this is the setting you need to be using. If you hear it at the bottom of the ear cup, this is the setting, to try and gauge how wide or tall your ears are, I guess, as to how you hear sounds. So they both have their features. I'd say they're both good headsets. If you're not too serious about your audio, you just want something that has game sound and party sound. The Xbox One probably wins out for me just because it's more comfortable as a headset, and it's really, really cool. When you turn it on, it makes the Series X boot up noise. So that's enjoyable.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good reviews.
Yeah. So, yeah, the headsets are good. They sound good. They do the job. And the last one I want to talk about is Injustice 2. It's a game that I play.
It's a big pile of shit.
Oh.
Well done, Dan.
Look, I came into this podcast defending Dishonored 2. So, look, I like Injustice 2. It might not be everyone's cup of tea, but I will fight you webby tooth and nail that Dishonored 2 is a great game.
I'll delete it, mate. It sucks balls. That's all I'm going to say. Don't want to talk about it anymore.
User error. User error. But no, Injustice 2, I like it. It's good fun. I just like the honestly, the story mode's quite good. The whole comic.
It's not.
All right, well, have you read the comics?
Really good shit. I'm Marvel, man. I'm Marvel. Fuck
Dan's not a comic book nerd like you.
Sorry.
I am actually. To be honest,
do you like Marvel versus Capcom?
No.
Yeah, I have an extensive Marvel collect. Well, I did have a load of graphic novels, Marvel ones, which I sold a few years ago. But I've never really got into DC, if I'm being honest. They can't seem to make their mind up about anything. And then I'm not just talking about the movie franchises.
Oh, I saw Justice League.
They seem to be doing a moonwalk on that fucking constantly. Never quite. Well, I did watch the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, you saw it as well. Yeah, we both saw it. I liked
the Snyder Cut was. I thought the Snyder Cut was fine. It was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the whole. We're kind of segueing a little bit.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in this to a degree. But the issue you've got with the Snyder universe now is that they kind of listen to all the fanboys, the very vocal ones.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of emboldened to the point where, what do you do with all these characters? I mean, they kind of rushed putting this well together to a degree, and hence you've got this kind of weird Frankenstein's monster where they're releasing solo films at the moment, but apparently they're all connected, but they're kind of not at the same time. And the public are confused, I guess. Even next year, you've got the Batman coming out, which is apparently on Earth 2 now.
Yeah, I read that.
So they're kind of going for the multiverse now, which I think, if in all fairness, I think Marvel have beaten to the punch on that one to a degree. Yeah, I suppose the fanboys will hate it. They'll moan about it. They'll want the Snyderverse intact and rebrought back again. So you're constantly fighting that off. So good luck to them, I say. But yeah, Injustice 2, big part of shit, mate.
Is it the super? Is it the ultimate abilities? Is that what?
No,
gets
it's the old kind of the problem I've got with it. It's the old kind of Mortal Kombat syndrome. Very wooden, clunky. Yeah, there's no real. Everyone kind of fights like they've got a rod shoved up their arse.
The one issue I take with it is the gear unlocks. But when I fight people, I fight a friend online. I set it so default gear, everyone's the same level. There's no advantages. I don't think that's really the point. I think, I mean, if you were to look at some of those cutscenes where you kind of fly up into the air and seeing that about 5 times and that's I
like,
agree.
Oh, really? Do we really need to see this? It's not even comical. And when you're taking 15 seconds out of the flow of a match just so that Aquaman can fire you through a fucking whirlpool. Yeah, fuck off. Can't be asked.
There's a little skill involved in knowing how you have to be angled or to sort of set those off, because it's possible to miss those.
Yeah, but I can't be asked with that. I really can't.
It's no Street Fighter, is it?
I can tell you now, I haven't played a lot of fighting games.
No, you haven't. You're basically you need to play smart. I don't say you don't need to, but I think myself and Darren have played our fair share of the best fighting games out and around there, so we know our shit. And all I'm saying is that Injustice and Injustice 2 is not good. It's not good fighting games. They're not.
I did quite like the first one, to be honest, for what it was.
Yeah, I do actually have a digital copy of that, to be honest, because they gave it away for free a little while ago.
Injustice 2 is on GamePass.
Yeah, Injustice 2 is on Game. I got the first Injustice as well. I've got both the 360 version. I've got the Ultimate Edition on the PlayStation 4 as well. I don't know how I managed to get hold of them. They're in my library for some weird reason. And they're just, meh. Anyway.
Right, can we move on?
I'm done.
Okay. Darren.
All right, not a great deal. I'll just briefly mention that Black Desert released its latest class this week, Sage. He's like a big burly dude who runs around using sort of spatial magic. Seems quite overpowered for a class, actually, to be honest, out of some of the others I've used. A few of his abilities seem pretty overpowered, like pulling all the enemies into you and then causing a big eruption from the ground, or just slamming through a load of them with a palm strike sort of blast thing. Apart from that, a little bit of news on Final Fantasy. I'm not going to actually talk about playing the game. We've got a release date for patch 5.5. Which is going to be Tuesday the 13th, which is also the exact same day that they are going to be doing the PS5 beta for, obviously,
are you going to be downloading the PS5
version?
beta?
Yeah, I will be, just to try it out. Sort of a thing. It's going to be just a public beta, and then they're going to release the full finished thing. And so it's just basically a thing of we'll see how it goes, and then when it's working properly, we'll be it's completed.
Are they charging you for the PS5 version?
No.
So free upgrade, is it? Okay.
Because I saw today that on one of the shops I go to, base.com, they're currently selling the complete edition of Final Fantasy 14. So that's the base game and every expansion so far for £13.80.
Bloody hell.
Or something ridiculous.
Well, I kind of want to have a rent now.
Yeah, and then obviously you just put the disc in, I think, and it will just start downloading the beta for the PS5 one on the
Brilliant.
date.
It's all right.
Which is perfectly fine. And you'll also, even if you don't own the game, you'll be able to still download the PS5 beta by accessing it through the free trial, which I believe now allows you to play through the entire story up to the end of Heaven's Ward.
Wow. That's a lot of content.
That is a lot of content for free.
But you can only
thing,
get up to
so-
a certain level, can't you, without a paying sub, right?
I think Heaven's Ward. Well, you have to be over level 50 to do Heaven's Ward, and I believe Heaven's Ward finished at level 60. Was it?
Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah.
I think so. I think it was 50, then 60, 70, and 80
Yeah,
with
it's
the
on
new
80,
one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so but there's still a lot of content. So there's probably going to be quite a few new people trying to log in on the game. Also, they're going to be doing improvements to the PS4 versions of the game to improve the load times,
Oh,
because
brilliant.
they are getting quite bad, to be honest, on the last gen. When you're obviously doing the hunts and that, you notice you'll like zone in to do a hunt, and by the time you're halfway to the hunt, everyone's already at it and killing it, and it's
Yeah.
still rendering and loading people in, so you can't even target or see the thing to actually attack it. So yeah, that's a bit of a thing. That's pretty much roughly been it. Oh, Cyberpunk had its big update this week, didn't it? It's patch
Oh, did it?
1.2 or whatever it was.
Yeah,
It was like
that.
40 gig.
Bloody
Like a
hell.
40 gig update. It's
That's
over. It's an
insane.
overwrite. It hasn't actually added 40 gig onto the game file size. It's just added like about a gig or so onto it, but it's added like a load of fixes and stuff for things. The game seems a lot more stable now for people running it on, say, last gen hardware.
It's not been relisted on PlayStation yet, has it?
No, which is a damn shame, because out of the two versions, Xbox Series X and PS5 version runs slightly better.
There you go.
It pretty much runs at a whatchamacallit, locked 60, whereas there are slight dips on the Series X version. Before this patch, I've yet to see any sort of like proper analysis, but there's just certain things now. It's starting to look a little bit crisper than it did before, and there's a few little extra details I'm seeing, like in some bits and bobs here and there, like LED lighting and like text and that scrolling across like curbs and things like that. So just waiting now for the whatever the next gen upgrade is and stuff. But the game's still fantastic. I love it. It is a really, really good game. They've fondled around with the map, so it's a lot easier now to see things on the map, like your different activities.
Oh, yeah.
Where you are on the map a lot easier.
Yeah.
The different vendors in the different areas are going to be selling clothes more related to those zones rather than just a weird hodgepodge mishmash of stuff. But yeah, the list of fixes, bug fixes, it was like fucking Santa pulling out his Christmas list from the entire world. It just went on and on and on. I was at work showing my mate, and I was just scrolling on my phone, and after a couple of minutes he was like, "Are you still going?" I'm like, "I'm just over halfway, mate."
Brilliant.
So, but yeah, they're moving in the right direction for that, which is good.
Good. It's good to hear.
And I think that's in the sales now. I think you can pick it up for about 35 quid if you look around. It's like pretty much a steal for that price, to be honest. Fortnight, again, been playing with my mate. There's like new venture mode started. I think it was today. And a load of new quests for the actual main Fortnite game mode, not the Battle Royale. Little bit of news I forgot about to mention earlier on. There's going to be another Resident Evil showcase this week.
Oh, bro.
We're not entirely too sure when.
Mm-hmm.
But that's obviously going to more than likely, because the game's out in just over a month's time, isn't it?
Yeah.
By the time you hear this, I believe. So no doubt, last few bits of details, some more bollocks about RE-verse or whatever the hell that is. I mean, I did see a sliver of hope on Capcom's website saying that when you pre-order the game, you get a code to input that allows you to download Reverse.
Oh, okay. Makes
So
sense.
that might mean you're not forced to download it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to. I said before, I'm not sacrificing hard drive space for something like that that's going to get constantly fondled and updated.
Yeah.
And I'll never even look at it, let alone touch it. So that's coming this week, and no doubt, which will be interesting to a lot of people, they're going to announce obviously another demo, aren't they? And this one is going to be for everyone.
Cool.
Because the last one was for PS5 only.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? So the next one's going to be the final demo, and I think that's going to come out on everything. So, and it'll be their final last push before obviously the game sales come out.
Brilliant.
But yeah, the only other little bit of thing that I was going to mention, which is what my weird sort of like gasp was earlier on. There's like a YouTuber guy I watch, and occasionally like his viewers send him like parcels and stuff that he opens on his videos. And obviously people every now and again send him like old retro games and such.
Okay.
One of them the other day sent him Neo Turf Masters.
Oh wow! Okay, it's quite a pricey one, isn't it?
Yes, but he didn't know this.
Right.
And he got it, opened it up and went, "Oh, a fucking sports game. We know what to do with sports games," and just tossed it over his shoulder.
Oh, not
and
bad.
It shattered on the floor into pieces. Yeah,
you're
into
joking.
pieces, yeah. So let me put it into consideration. A loose copy of that game, just the cartridge on its own, without the box and the instructions, which he had as well.
Yeah.
So a loose copy of that sells for $11,200.
Wow.
Yeah. What a dickhead.
A full boxed copy that he had, the last one sold for $24,800.
And someone sent him this?
Oh, God.
Because I just saw him put up a tweet or a thing for one of his videos saying like me smashing a $24,000 game. A thing.
I wonder if it was.
But apparently it's got. I don't know. He's actually. I watched him do it, and then this video like was about 2 days afterwards. Because obviously I've just put on here Neo Turf Masters price, and it's brought up like the value and the sales price, and it's even got here. I think the box, possibly on its own, in mint condition, is worth almost $9,000.
That's fucking box. People are mental, aren't they? Absolutely mental.
Well, it's because it's super rare.
Yeah.
Like it's like what I've said. There's certain games that once they're in the hands of collectors, that's it. They're basically in those people's hands for whenever.
Yeah.
So yeah, currently the cartridge on its own is worth $11,200. The box almost $10,000, $9,900. The manual is worth $6,200.
Fuck's sake. That's insane.
Jesus Christ. I downloaded it for a $5.
A brand new copy of the game, which has actually been found somewhere and sold for $50,700.
Sake. People are mental. Who was that amount of money spent on a fucking video game? That's just nuts. I can't imagine it. I really can't.
Some collector somewhere.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's the money.
Yeah, I remember, like, obviously,
send that to someone.
Yeah, I remember one of the most expensive Neo Geo games that even back when I owned one and they were still on the market at the time, there was one called Viewpoint.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like it was kind of 3D and quite unique for the time when everything on that system was kind of pixel. But even back then, it was worth about $1,000. Like if you could get hold of a copy of it.
Wow.
and that was in like 1990 something. So I dread to think what it's like. And it was, I think someone said, yeah, it's because there were only something like 200 physical copies made worldwide.
Wow. Crazy.
So yeah, that bloke he needs to not ever mention that to his wife because she will probably kill him.
Yeah.
I know, like if I like my other half or whatever, and it would go ballistic.
Yeah.
Being
definitely.
like, oh, what's that? Oh yeah, I just smashed a game worth about £20,000.
You're mental.
Yeah, that's me done, mate. I just thought I'd share that little bit of amusement.
No worries, my dude. No worries. Okay. It's me now, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay. I played a few games. I'm not going to bore you to death with talking about them all for too long. I've been playing a little bit of Battlefield 5 on both the Xbox Series X and the PC. I've been really, really enjoying that. Been playing it with Wes. And I also played a little bit with an old co-host, Illmatic, as well.
Ooh.
So yeah, so obviously I mentioned last week that Illmatic's migrated to the PC platform. So myself, him and Wes were playing some Battlefield 5 on the PC, and we had a jolly good time. So big shout out to Illmatic. He's actually living in Japan now. So
Wow.
yeah,
he was living in Germany the last time I spoke to him.
yeah. So he's moved from Germany to Japan. He's been living in Japan for a little while. So yeah, he gets about.
How horrible.
He said he loves it in Japan. He says it's amazing. He says he doesn't want to leave ever.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a lovely country.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, he was saying to me there's like no crime. There's no litter on the streets. He says it's just amazing. So yeah, so
there is crime, but it's just generally
it's polite.
Sort of mentioned as much. Yeah. They'll apologise if they kill you. Like, are you dying? I'm really sorry.
I mean, even the Yakuza games. I mean, the crime's polite in that, isn't it?
Yeah. Kind of.
Live a little dance off karaoke, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah. So really enjoying some Battlefield 5 at the moment. I think it's a great game on the multiplayer side of things, and it's just mixing things up at the moment. So I really want to get some gamer nights going on this on either platform, PC or Xbox. I don't really mind. It looks and runs great on both systems. So if you're up for a game, I know Shady Fox, a member of our community, is always up for a game on the Xbox. So yeah, good times indeed. So another game that I want to mention in the World War II fashion is Hell Let Loose. So I know I've mentioned this a few times, but I've been playing that a little bit this week. So I've been playing that a little bit with Wes and another community member called Two Rooms. Now, what I'm really liking about Hell Let Loose, there's a couple of things. One, it's rumoured to be coming to the next-gen consoles, which I've already mentioned in previous
Yeah, I
podcasts.
think I was about to say, I'm sure I heard something about that.
Yeah, so which is really, really cool. So the battlefield is huge. It's 50 versus 50, which is great. Axis versus Allies. But the one thing that sets us apart from, say, Battlefield, I mean, it's very similar to Battlefield. But what it is you've got Axis on one side, Allies on the other, and you've got a load of objectives, and you kind of like have to move the battlefield one way or the other, depending on what team you're on. So there's a lot of attacking and defending going on. But it kind of it's steeped in a lot of realism, so you can only use the weapons, obviously, which were used in World War II on that side. So if you're the Axis, you can only use there, like the Kar 98. And if you're on the Allied side, you can only use like the M1 Grand, for example. Now, what I'm really loving about this, and I'm really getting into this at the moment, I've played it quite a lot this week, is you're split into squads of 5, and each squad has a squad leader. So your squad can only talk to each other, but the squad leaders are all split off into another voice chat as well. So you've got different keyboard commands to press to go into different voice chats. And so all the squad leaders coordinate, and you do objectives because you can look at the map at any time, and then you can and then it's set up in like a grid system. So then you're all talking like, well, we're going to go to this grid and we're going to go and flank around that way, and you can set up little spawn points for your squads and all this sort of stuff. So it does get very, very tactical, and that's what I'm really liking about it. The graphics are absolutely insane, just beautiful, and they're all set on the real world locations taken from all the photo images from the planes back in the World War II era. So they're trying to keep the battlefields as close to what they looked like back then as possible, which I really like. So it's, it's a World War II shooter that's steeped in historical accuracy, which I really like. So yeah, because there's none of this, upgrading your guns, and there's no scopes on your guns or anything like that. It's just pure what the guns were like. So yeah, really enjoying this. It's a lot of fun, and I'm really excited for it to hopefully come to consoles at some point. The crazy thing about on the PC is it's been out for a good few years, and it's still in early access. It's not even properly out yet. It's nuts, but it's so good. So that's that. I've talked about that for a few weeks now, and I'm sorry to bore you all about it, but I just love it. I love it. It's so good. Another game that I've been playing a hell of a lot in the past week with various community members, Rooski and Darkest Frost and Iceman, Sea of Thieves. I can't get enough of this game at the moment. I even went in and did and played it solo a little bit this week as well, which was a hell of a lot of fun. It's one of those games, it kind of sucks you in. And what happened to me this week which was quite funny, I was on with Rooski, and he had these really cool Xbox sails and bits on his ship. I was like, how the fuck do you get those, man? It's like the original Xbox logo and all that. And he was like, oh, if you install it onto your Series X, when you load it up, you'll get it unlocked. So I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll install it on my Series X then. So the next day, I was sitting downstairs, and I was like, oh, I'll just install it on my Series X, get the stuff, turn it off and delete it, and I'll go back on my PC. Well, it's one of those games where it doesn't quite work out like that. So I installed it on my Series X, jumped in, 2 hours later, I'm still playing it on my Xbox. I'm like, oh my fucking God, where has the time gone? It's just one of those games where it's just so much fun, just sailing the seas, exploring, doing little quests and digging up your treasure chests and that. And as I say, fucking up other players. It's just, time just slips away when you're playing Sea of Thieves. It's so much fun. Like, I went into a solo game and I come across another ship, and they were just kind of wary of me, I could tell. And they landed at this island, obviously just doing a quest of some sort. So I sail up towards their ship and just blast the fuck out of it with cannonballs, and then ensued like a 20-minute ship-to-ship battle. There was 2 of them on their ship and just me on my own. I got sunk in the end and died, but it was just so funny. I love this game so much. Like I'll do silly things when I'm on with the other guys. Like I'll swim in the ocean and sneak onto other people's boats and set them on fire. Like, there's a really cool way of setting ships on fire, which is each ship has a stove so you can cook your food. But if you leave your food on it too long, it burns and sets on fire, then sets the ship on fire. So I quite enjoy doing that. It's quite funny, because a lot of the time they don't notice that until it's too late. Yeah, so we've had some epic times. So the most epic time that we had, I don't know if I mentioned it last week or not, but I'm just going to briefly mention it. So we were doing like a treasure hoarder quest. So you get these quests, you find treasure chests, you get a key to this secret vault, and it's just full of chests, full of gold and everything like that. So there was myself, Darkest Frost, and Iceman, and we rock up to this vault, the entrance of the vault. So we unlock it, and then there's like a door, then there's like a walkway, and then there's another door that opens about a minute later. So let's get you ready. So the first door opens, and we walk in, and we're like, there's loads of treasure chests in here. What the fuck's going on? That's not right. So we'd assumed that another player had been in and tried to get the chests out and then died, because after a certain amount of time, the vault door closes, the room floods, and you die. So you have to kind of time it quite well. So anyway, so we're like, oh fuck it, we've got some extra chests, that's awesome. So we do the vault, takes a bit of time. So we've got about 50 fucking chests, and so we're taking our time to load them onto a ship. There was still about 20 left, and then Darkest and Iceman are like, oh fuck, there's another ship coming, and it's a galleon, which is the biggest ship. It's obviously the team who died, and they're coming back for for their loot. So we're like, quick, fucking leave the rest and we'll go and sell this stuff because we've got so much here. So we went to the other island, the base, and we sold all our stuff. And we were like, let's go back and find this ship, because if it's still there, we'll fuck them up and steal all their crap, and we can sell that as well. So we go back to the island, and they're still there, loading up their ship. We're like, let's go fuck them up, and then ensued an epic battle of massive proportions. We're jumping on each other's ships, hitting each other with swords, just, firing cannonballs at each other and just having a bright laugh. We eventually won the day, thanks to Darkest Frost did an epic sniper shot with a sniper rifle to get rid of the last guy. And all their stuff, because they tried to bail out at the end with all their loot on a little rowboat, but we spotted that little trick and fucked them up, sunk their big ship. And then we're like, right, we've got a nice little rowboat with all the loot on, and we'll just put it on the back of our ship and away we went. It was just, it's so funny. And this is what makes Sea of Thieves so good. It's the randomness, like, of things that happen. I mean, I can guarantee like something like that will probably never happen again, because the chances of two teams in the same server on the same quest at the same time, it's just rare as fuck. So, Darkest Frost was saying to me it's probably one of the most fun times he's ever had on the game, and he's pumped hundreds of hours into it. It was just so funny, like that just happened. So, yeah, it's a great game. It's even fun on your own, but it is better to be played with friends. So I highly recommend it. I'm just having a blast with it at the moment. It's so good.
You and I must have very different experiences, because I never come across other ships. It never happens when I play it.
Oh, it's a shame, because sometimes you jump on, you don't see other ships, and then sometimes you do run into a lot. It just depends on how busy your server is, I guess. But yeah, I mean, because I play with Darkest Frost quite a bit now, when we do go through sessions where we don't see another ship. But the last few times we have done, it's been so funny. It really, really has, because he's quite cautious, like him and Iceman, and to some regard Ruski as well. When we're doing 4-player, all three of them are quite reserved. They're like, oh, and let's not attack that ship, because let's be friends, or we want to get on with the mission. And I'm like standing there going, no, let's fuck them up. This is what it's about. We're pirates. And then I'm just jumping in the ocean and attacking them anyway. And then
you'd be terrible. You'd be terrible in a barroom brawl.
Yeah,
you would.
Yeah, I know.
Absolutely awful. Shit stirring left, right, and centre. Yeah. I'll be like, man, mate, I'm getting out of there. Sod this. Let him fight on his own.
Because all three of them are just like, oh, for fuck's sake, Webby, not again. Oh, I'm just like, well, this is part of the game. It just makes it more fun. Even if we die, it's funny, So. It's a great game. Anyway,
I just play the accordion and dance. That's what I do.
See, that is some of the fun of the game, 100%.
Yeah.
Okay, swiftly moving on. I've played a few more games. Very briefly, just want to say that I've been playing some Division 2 with Mr. Peebs and a few other people from the community. We're really still enjoying the Division 2. Not played it loads. We did one session this week, but it was a lot of fun. My main game I've been playing on the Xbox with my missus, in fact, is a little game I picked up called It Takes Two. It's so fucking good. I have to say, actually, It Takes Two is, at the moment, my game of the year. It's that good. Yep.
Nice.
So far. And the thing that, obviously you have to play it in co-op, and the thing that's really good is I'm playing it with my wife, so we're playing it couch co-op. Obviously the screen is split, but it's just the story itself is really, really good. It's got a lot of really comical moments between the two main characters, and the Book, who's another character, is bloody hilarious. But the thing that makes it magical is just the art style and the gameplay itself. Now, I know I mentioned last week, so it's split into chapters, and there's lots of levels in each chapter. Each chapter plays completely different, because you get different abilities that and different, say, weapons that you can use. So it completely changes up the gameplay mechanics. and a lot of the puzzles within the game itself are really well done, because it's the game is designed in such a way where you need to work together to be able to overcome the game, and it does bring up some quite hilarious times within the game, and sometimes it can be frustrating, but more often than not, it's just hilariousness ensues. This game is beautiful. It's a little bit like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, because you play as dolls, so everything is bigger than you, but it's very magical as well. So it's like all the toys come to life, and the animals like squirrels and stuff. It's just they all come to life, and they have their own personalities. But the level design is just absolutely insanely good. I don't think I've played a game in recent memory where the level design is as good as this, and it's just like, me and the missus were playing for a couple of levels yesterday, and both of us were just saying, this is just so beautiful. It's just so well done. It's just like, when you're playing it, it just feels like like when you're a kid and you're watching a Disney movie, and it just feels quite magical. The game just feels like that. It's just, if you've got someone who you can play this with, because obviously you have to play it co-op, I recommend this game over any other co-op game at the moment. It is just so well done. And the other good thing is, right, if you want to play it online, only one of you needs to actually pay to own the game as well. So, so if you've got a friend who's a little bit tight and doesn't care about not getting achievements, then jump on with them. It is,
I saw
amazing.
Man of Medan is a similar thing to that, where when I booted it up, it's like you can send a friend a pass and they can play, but they don't earn achievements, but they can co-op it with you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that applies to Game Pass version, obviously, because it's back to Man of Medan there, but I noticed that A Way Out did that as well. A Way Out, you could play online with someone if they didn't own it, but they just didn't get achievements, right, as player two.
Yeah.
So it's good. It's a good system to have.
Yeah, it is. It's really good, and this is kind of a hidden gem for me this year, because I wasn't expecting it, and then I saw the reviews, about a week before it came out, and I was like, oh, this looks awesome, because I really loved A Way. Is it A Way Out? The previous, A Way Out. I love that one. I played through that twice, and it was just absolutely brilliant. So me and the missus are doing absolutely everything on our playthrough on this, just finding all the little secrets we can, and because there's a lot of mini games like scattered around the worlds as well, which are really, really good fun as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm really liking it, and one thing I don't understand, right, is because there was a few gaming journalists out there that were slagging the game off, like, oh, it's about divorce and people just need to learn to deal with it as part of life, and I was just like, what the fuck are you on about? This game, like, the crux of the story is the two main characters are a husband and wife who are going to get divorced, and it makes their daughter very upset, as it does with any kids, right, when parents get divorced. I've been through it when my parents got divorced, so I kind of know how that kid in the game feels, right? So it's all about her wishing that her parents would stay together, and she buys this book of love. And basically she cries on these dolls, and the dolls come alive as her parents. And then the Book of Love is this funny character, and the whole game is about them working together to fix their relationship so they don't get divorced. So it has a really good story to it, because it kind of tells a story of you shouldn't give up too easily, and love a lot of time is a lot of hard work, which is true in real life. So I think it has quite a nice message to it as well. I know not everyone would agree with it, but I think it has a really good story, and I think personally, people with kids should try their hardest to stay together. But that's just my personal opinion as someone who's been through parents getting divorced. So it's a great game.
Pixar could probably make a good film about it.
Yeah, probably. It's just when you start playing it, and it's just like the first boss battles. I'm just watching it on the Twitch now. It's your old vacuum cleaner comes alive, and he's like, "You did what do you mean? And then you have a little boss battle. It's just so fucking funny. It's so well done. It's just brilliant. Like the design choices of this game, wow, I've never seen anything like it. If you get the opportunity, buy it. I mean, on Xbox to download, it's 35 quid, but I got a code for it off CD Keys that was like 18 quid. So, that's been more than worth the money, in my opinion. Yeah, game of the year for me so far. And we haven't finished it yet. We're hoping to finish it this week. It's quite a long game. It's about 10 hours or so. So it's a decent length. Cool. Any other questions, or shall we move on?
No, all good.
No.
Okay.
I know Stunty said he played it last week, didn't he, as well? So
yeah, he's been playing it with his daughter and getting quite frustrated with her, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So I actually picked up a game.
Wait for the.
Go on.
I was about to say, wait for the article about the couple that actually got divorced over playing the game.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Just fell out with each other.
I picked up a game of Dan's reviews, Pac-Man 256 on the Xbox.
Oh yeah.
So
you were going for the easy Chivos, were you?
No, I wasn't actually. So there was a little Namco Bandai sale, and it was like £1.80 or something silly.
Oh, that's not bad.
Nice.
Yeah, dirt cheap, but it's because I love Pac-Man. I absolutely love Pac-Man. I've got all the Pac-Man games on the Xbox anyway. This is the only one I didn't have actually. So I was like, I've played it on the phone and I really like it because because it's kind of different. It's like an endless maze, right? So I thought I'll pick this up. And what I didn't realise about it is you can change the art style of the maps as well, which is really, really cool.
Yep.
So, because obviously it's made by the same people that did Crossy Road, so it's got all the Crossy Road stuff in it, and it has that art style. But I've been playing it in like the retro Pac-Man art style, which has been really, really good. And I've been loving it, man. It was so funny because I was playing it the other morning, and then my little boy was like, "Oh, Pac-Man!" My little boy loves Pac-Man, so he was watching, and then there was a 2-player mode. So then my little boy was like, "Oh, Daddy, can we play 2-player?" And I was like, "All right." And well, he kept dying because obviously he's only 3 years old. He doesn't really know how to use a controller properly. But the co-op. The 2-player co-op on it's done really well, I think. You have 2 little Pac-Man, but when you do the 2-player, you can choose between a lot of different characters, like the Crossy Road characters, or different types of Pac-Man through the ages. Like the 3D Pac-Man and the various other ones. Yes, so that's a lot of fun. And if your partner dies, you can bring them back to life, like a little icon of them turns up on the screen. You just got to eat that icon and they come back.
Did you enjoy the easy 100G Chivo for doing co-op?
Yes, I did actually. It was very, very nice.
Peter's ears lights up.
But what was quite funny, so I was playing it and then my missus came downstairs, was like, "Oh, what are you playing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm playing some Pac-Man." And she was like, "Oh, can I have a go?" And an hour later, she's still fucking playing it. So it's become a little bit of a family affair.
It's because it's designed. It was designed for a mobile game. You kind of got that structure still in. You see what I'm saying? Because I mean, the game was designed quite clearly to for long mobile trips, and obviously and also kind of I think there's also elements of microtransactions still in there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of built with that in mind. So when you do play it, you kind of do get kind of gripped in, and it does. I don't know. It does kind of have those design flaws in it, I suppose, to a degree. But I can see past that. I mean, I put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
I think
because as you're playing it, you unlock different abilities like a laser and Big Pac-Man and all that sort of stuff, and it's just like, oh yeah, if I play it for like if I have another couple of goes, I'll unlock this cool thing, and I want to beat my high score, my next run, or get a bit further on the maze. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's quite addictive.
I mean, I spent a lot of time on the mobile version. I've been honest. Yeah. I think back then you actually paid for the game, and then I think there was elements of, I think it's free to play now on mobile, but back then I think it was, I'm not sure how much I paid for it, but again, it was microtransactions were part of the package back then as well. So yeah, I'd recommend it, but
yeah, it's brilliant.
it's an easy
brilliant.
Chivos as well. Easy Chivos as well.
Yeah, it's got a few easy Chivos. Yeah, so moving on, I've played only 2 more games. I'm briefly going to mention Insurgency Sandstorms. I've been in a little bit of a shooty mode this week, to be honest. And what I really like about Insurgency Sandstorms, I only played 1 game of it, so I'm only going to briefly mention it. It's just, I did there's 2 modes. There's versus and co-op. I just do the co-op, and it's basically you get through a map, and there's checkpoints along the way of things to capture, like bombs and stuff, or capturing buildings, and you just have to fight your way through like a urban environment, like set in the Middle East, and you got to take out all the terrorists along the way, and it's just that co-op fun of just that ultra realism again of just shooting the fuck out of people as you're going along. So just enjoying that. So that was a little bit of fun. And the last game I've played came to Game Pass this week, called Narita Boy. Have you heard of this?
No.
Okay, so it's basically like an old school kind of pixel art side-scrolly game. But it's done in a really cool way. So it has a really cool kind of 80s vibe to it. So it's basically set in the 80s where this dude is working on his computer, but then like his kid gets sucked into the game, and the game creator, which is his dad, is like the evil dude because he's like working on the game or something, and they're like, oh, he's changing our programming, you need to sort it out, Narita Boy. And it's all about, it's a little bit Metroidvania-ish, but it's not properly. It's like side-scrolly, and you so at the beginning you have to pick up the techno sword, and then it has a little bit of comedy elements into it. So you pick up the techno sword, and it's like, you know, like all the techno music going in the background. It's done in a really cool art style. And then it turns into like a side-scrolling platformer where you have to like kill enemies with your sword, but you have a few different special moves with it. And it's like, you know, you have to go to a certain area, and you have to like get a key to unlock another area, etc. It's okay. It's not amazing. I mean, I think the best thing about it is kind of that art style and that vibe. I mean, it has probably one of the best kind of CRT viewpoint, if that makes sense, because it's set like, it's kind of, the screen's like curved, like you're looking at a CRT screen, and it has very faint kind of scan lines, so it feels like very retro in that aspect. I mean, the art design's wonderful, but I played it for about an hour, and I thought it was okay, but it's just like, can I really get into this? I'm not sure at the moment. I don't know. I'm going to play it a little bit more maybe next week or something, but my initial impressions are it looks nice, and it plays okay. It does get a little bit frustrating with some of the enemies at times, but yeah, it's about all I can say.
Combat actually looked very similar to like a really old 360 game.
Oh, okay.
I remember.
Which
Because it's got pretty favourable reviews.
Yes,
I just
I
looked it
know.
up.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was like a really sort of like almost like Stickmen kind of fighting game on the 360, very arcadey, chuck loads of people at you and used to like beat the crap out of them. The combat sort of on it looks very similar to that, but it does look really well done and pretty different.
Yeah, I mean, the art style is beautiful. It's probably one of the biggest takeaways from the game. It's
on the Switch as well. It's on everything.
Yeah, it's on everything. Yeah, it just hit Game Pass. I think it's been on PC for quite a long while. But yeah, as I say, it's just hit Game Pass. So yeah, I'm just trying to find the bit on.
It looks like something you might actually enjoy, Dan. To be honest,
yeah,
it does look like a Dan game. So this is the bit where you get the techno sword on and just put it on the video now. Yeah, I mean, I haven't given it like a long enough time to really give it a full kind of overview, really. But initial impressions are, as what I said, it looks and feel, you know, it looks really, really nice. But it's just trying to get to grips with, you know, the kind of direction on the levels and where you're going, etc. And the fightings can be a little bit frustrating at times. Yeah, that's about it, really. That's all I've been playing. I need to get back into Yakuza 7, so that's kind of what I'm going to try and get back into maybe in the next week or two, because I'm kind of not been playing it enough. So, yeah, should we get into questions?
Come on.
Okay, so from Strokey McGinger says, when it comes to Easter eggs, are you guys like me and actually enjoy eating the accompanied chocolate bars rather than the egg itself, or am I just a bit wrong?
It makes a good point.
I don't eat Easter eggs because I'm diabetic, so...
No. You get the Cadbury, you get the mini eggs Easter egg, but the best part is the mini eggs in the little packet.
See, I mean, my favourite chocolate is dairy milk, even though they've changed the ingredients slightly, so it's not as nice as it used to be back in the day. So my favourite part was always the egg, because I love the dairy milk chocolate.
You'd hate Australian chocolate. You'd hate it.
Yeah, I've been to Australia. It's weird.
I get it imported. I go to like international stores and get
That's
like
because
English
it melts
chocolate.
too easy out there, and
Exactly. So there's preservatives in it that stop it melting. That's why.
See, like, I am weird because I only like to eat chocolate if it's been in the fridge. I don't like it warm.
Yeah, I can buy that, because when I like my chocolate, I used to do exactly that. You know,
Oh,
bit
really?
of dark chocolate in the fridge. Yeah,
I thought I was
mean,
a bit of a weirdo on my own
No,
on that one.
No,
But there we go.
I did the same thing, and then someone at work called me out on it this week. Actually, they were like, "You put your chocolate in the fridge," and I was like,
yeah,
you,
it makes sense.
You don't?
Makes perfect sense.
And she goes, "There's preservatives in it in this country that mean you don't have to do that." And I go, "Yeah, but I don't like it too soft. I like to be able to snap my chocolate
Yes,
off the block."
that's 100% it. Yeah.
But I respect and understand her opinion as well, and that's why we live in a free society where we can debate chocolate.
Yes.
Debate chocolate.
Chocolate for
Big
the win.
important discussions.
Yeah. All right. Question from Neil Holding on Facebook says, does anyone think the Xbox are killing it this gen with Game Pass?
Yes.
Yeah, we had a healthy discussion about that earlier, so I don't think there's much else we can really say on that. Really? Tuck Monkey says, has anyone played Elite Dangerous Odyssey yet? No, I haven't. I think it's only in the PC at the moment. It's in beta. It looks good because you can land on planets and space stations and walk around and all that jazz. But you got to pay another 30 quid for it. Nah, no, I'm not interested.
Elite Dangerous is on Game Pass now.
Yeah, so the game is, but that DLC isn't, is it? So, yeah. And the only way to play that is with a flight stick. So.
Yeah, I need to play more Star Wars Squadrons. I have a flight stick. I need to play more Star Wars Squadrons.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. That's all the questions. Is there any other questions on Twitch before we end it, guys? It's 11. Bloody hell, it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's a late one tonight.
Why is it always the long ones when I'm on?
I think the last few weeks.
Because you talk too much, Sly.
No, I didn't. I barely said anything. We made a point of that.
Did you? I don't know. It's fine. I slept loads today anyway, so I'm kind of like...
I didn't.
I'm going to be up all night.
I'm actually a bit too awake now. I'm like, do I go back to bed or do I just power through my day at this point? It's 6 a.m.
Power for your day. There's no point going back to bed. Well, it's Easter Monday, isn't it? So for you, so you'll be fine. I mean, it's another day of rest.
Stay on the sofa, watch films all day. Maybe have an afternoon hour. Yeah.
And if you feel knackered, park out for a bit later.
Yeah, exactly.
Get an hour in or so later.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So my
Job
children
done.
have been waking me up at 6 o'clock every frickin' day. Pain in the arse. And then I worked
going to have another micro nap.
Evening, and then had some dinner, and then podcast. So I've been sitting up in this room all bloody day, pretty much.
Nice.
Apart from the little Easter egg hunt we did in the garden on my break, and a little walk out today as well. But yeah, pretty much the rest of the day's been happy. Fun times. Cool. Right, I think there's no more questions. We should end it here, everybody.
Oh, hang on. There's
Nice.
anything in the podcast Discord channel? We should check that.
No.
I did that
No.
earlier. I did
You already
that.
did that. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Don't worry, I've got it covered, mate.
All
I'm
right.
a professional. I think. Not sure. Yeah. Okay, cool. So from me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, PissOnD, SteamID, Webby317.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. Goodbye, Dan.
Good morning, good evening, good night, Sly Armored.
Happy Easter, everyone. Since they switch.
So before we end, I just want to say a big thank you to all the Patreons. Thank you very much. You are the reason why there's a show every single week of the year. Also, another big shout out to everybody who joined the Discord today. So I'll put a little note onto Twitter and Facebook. I don't speak for everyone. This is just a personal thing for me. I'm really now trying to get away from social media as much as possible. And the only way I can really do that is by, because I have to go onto it to obviously talk to the community, promote the podcast, etc., etc. But I would love, I know this probably won't happen, but I would love the community to all be in one place. And I feel the best place for that is the Discord channel, because with the Discord channel, there's no external influences. So the problem I have, and Dan knows, and the other crews who have our own little WhatsApp group, is like I'll go on Twitter to do something for the podcast or whatever, and then I'll see some other stuff and it'll just put me in a really bad mood. So I'm really trying to get away from Twitter, especially at the moment. So what I would really like is if as many people as possible join the Discord group, and then we can all just have our friendly gamer, sometimes our fanboy arguments or whatever, just within the confines of the Discord group. I think that would be really beneficial. And I think that would be actually quite beneficial for not just my mental health, but for many other people in communities' mental health, because I do feel that social media, especially Twitter, is actually quite damaging to people's mental health. So that's just my little shout out, just to try and get as many people on Discord. We had like 8 or 9 people join the Discord group this afternoon after I put my tweet out. I'd like to see more people come across. I think we've got about 150 members on there now, so it's actually
It's not bad.
quite a big, strong Discord community going on there. And I know the Facebook group is also very popular. And I'll continue to go on that as well.
Yeah, we're just a touch under 150 people. What I'm looking at, we've got about 147 in the Discord. I think.
Yeah. So yeah.
Nice.
So
I'll be on Twitter still. Doing what I usually do.
Giving opinions.
Giving opinions. Well, yeah, exactly. So join me on there.
Fishing.
Yeah, fish. Well, I don't know. My Twitter's alright actually, because I've blocked all the arseholes, so it's fine.
That's fair enough. Yeah,
it's weird how the algorithm works on that, but I'll be still there.
I mean, the Facebook group isn't as bad because I literally just use my Facebook for the Facebook group, but I just think it would be easier if everyone was in one place.
How are you going to brag about your 17,000 G in the month of March if you can't put it on social media?
I know, it's crazy. So if you want the Discord link, it will be in the show notes. It's in the show notes every single week. If you're like stunty and a bit shit with technology, and you don't know how to find the link for the Discord because you don't know where the show notes are, that's that little writing up at the bottom of all the podcasts. Yeah, if you can't find it, ping me a message on the Facebook group or Twitter, because I'm kind of going on it like once a day now. I'm trying to stop myself, just trying to limit it, and I will get back to you eventually, and I'll give you the link. But it's easy to find anyway. It is in the show notes. Yeah. I think that's about it. So thank you very much. It's been awesome as always. And we will see you next week for the Patreon show. Peace out. Goodbye.